All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to call the May 16th council meeting to order. Madam Clerk?
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Councilman Asbill. Councilman Buddy.
Present.
Councilman Chatelain.
Present.
Councilman Johnston.
Present.
Councilman Ricks.
Present.
Mayor Baudier.
Present.
Police Chief LaPree.
Present.
Fire Chief St. Cyr's absent. Finance Director Todd Turnion.
Present.
Scott Stansbury, City Attorney.
Present.
Myself, Carrie Hughes, Clerk, is present. Mayor's announcements.
The only announcement I really have this evening is that leverage, one if called this Harahan Home for 3 years now. They'll be shooting throughout the city, so just be vigilant of it. And we really, enjoy working with those guys. So, but if you have any issues, just call City Hall, and I'm sure we'll get them straightened out for you immediately. And you should see them around the city quite a bit very soon. And I know Chief is working with them, and his department's working with them as well. And thank you for that, Chief. And I do believe they're also working with the fire department. So just wanted you to be aware of it.
And we'll put it out on the app.
Yes. Also, yes, please pay attention to the police department app. Chief, give me that app. It's called the
It's the Harahan Police Department app.
Harahan Police Department app. Chief will be putting out all notifications on the Harahan Police Department app. So if you haven't downloaded it, please download it. It's really effective and really very easy to use. Thank you, Chief.
Mr.
Madam
Mayor, move to amend the agenda to add special presentations number 2, Surge Villanova with Harahan Music Festival.
You want to move special presentations all the way up to...
No, special, not address the council,
he wants
special
to add 'em.
presentation.
Okay. So you want to add special presentations to Surge Villanova,
Yeah, after, as number 2.
number 2.
And I would like to amend the agenda
We need a
to...
vote. We need a
Oh, I'm
vote.
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain, to add Surge Villanova to special presentations number 2. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
The agenda is amended.
And if I may, I have one more amendment to the agenda to add proposed ordinance 2024-13 to ordinances for introduction. And I gave everyone a copy of it here. It's an ARPA budget ordinance.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to add proposed ordinance number 2024-13 to the agenda and ARPA budget, and this one has to be unanimous to pull it from the floor. So we'll bring it open for public hearing. No one coming forth. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam
you,
Clerk,
Council.
please add 2024-13 to the agenda.
Mr. Tom, did you have something else?
Yes, sir, thank you. I would like to amend the agenda that we consider proposed ordinance 2024-9 immediately before we consider resolution 2024-8. They're related.
All right, so we have a proposed
Second.
agenda to change. You're going to have to give me that resolution, 2024-8. To hear proposed resolution, to propose ordinance 2024-9 prior to
Yes.
proposed resolution 2024-8 by Councilman Buddy. Will now open for public hearing. We have a second by Councilman Asbill. No one speaking forth. Will now, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Before I vote,
Oh.
we're going too fast. What are you doing now, Tom, Councilman Buddy?
I'd like to consider the ordinance
2024.
2024-9
9.
immediately before we consider the resolution 2024-8. These numbers are awfully close.
To
Resolution.
discuss.
Because they're related, he's saying.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, right,
related.
right.
They're
Okay.
directly related.
Okay.
Okay. 5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, please note the agenda.
Anything else?
I think that's okay.
Special presentations. Paul Johnson, proclamation.
I'm 75 and I feel like I'm...
You look like it, too.
Isn't that nice? Well, we're here tonight to honor one of Harahan's, one of the oldest citizens we have. We have maybe one or two older, I think maybe 101, 102, but we have Fox Vickner here tonight, who is 100 years old, May 20th. So we want to honor Fox tonight. Fox, would you come up to the podium? Come up. Fox will be 100 on May 20th. Fox is very involved in the community. He's kind of laying low now, but Fox has been involved with St. Rita's Dad's Club. He's been involved with St. Rita's Church. And now I'm going to read the proclamation and things he's done when he's here. But he's been involved with the activities at the church. He's been always cooking. He's always there when they need him with the fish fries. He's always there cooking for years. He's been doing that. I think Fox started the Dad's Club. One of the first ones that, 1955, one of the first ones to start the Dad's Club. So we want to honor Fox for all of what he's done for the community. And he's born and raised in Harahan. Not just moved here, he's born and raised here. He's lived in Harahan 100 years. He ran the Indians out. Okay, let's read the proclamation. My man. Whereas Mr. Harold Fox Vickner will be honored by his friends, relatives, and members of his community on the occasion of his 100th birthday, and whereas he was born on May 20th, 1924, and whereas he was the son of Etienne Vickner and Elaine, how you say that last name? Clabert Vickner. And whereas he was born and raised at 6217 Rowdy Street, village of Harahan, Louisiana. Now the house is still standing on Rowdy. Whereas he is a lifelong citizen of Harahan, and whereas on July 8th, 1944, he married Joyce Fauché, and whereas they were married 73 years until her passing, and then their marriage was blessed with 3 children, Harold Vickner Jr., the late Ronald Vickner, and Donald Vickner Sr., who was here tonight with his dad. And whereas he was blessed with 5 great-grandchildren, 10 grandchildren, and 10 great-great-grandchildren, one of his grandchildren's here tonight. Whereas he was active at St. Rita's Church, served as an usher for 28 years with me. Him and I served 28 years as ushers. Whereas he was active at St. Rita's Dad's Club, playing softball for over 50 years, and volunteered his time for over 50 years for many activities hosted by the St. Rita's Dad's Club. Now, therefore, I, Paul Johnston, thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to do this tonight. Councilman for the city of Harahan, along with the mayor and the rest of the Harahan Council, do hereby deem an honor and pleasure to extend this certificate of recognition to Mr. Harold Vickner and to, my eyes are getting blurry, and the occasion on his 100th birthday with a sincere congratulations and best wishes. And as all the citizens and friends to acknowledge the celebration with him on this wonderful milestone in his life. Harold Vickner, 100 years old.
Yeah, can we,
Sure.
all of us get up here?
All the whole council, if we
Yeah,
can.
let's all of us get up here. And Chief, too. Come on. Yeah, picture without you. What? He stands for 2 hours. I can't stand for 15 minutes.
Look at her.
The next one is,
So since you turned 100, Fox, tonight you're taking over the council meeting? Here's the agenda.
yeah, I could use this. I'm not. Use the paper.
You're taking over the council meeting tonight, you turned 100 years old.
There you are, Fox.
I'm gonna head on out of here, I'm gonna see y'all later.
There you are, there you're right.
You got it.
We declare today the Harold Victor. If you're feeding.
That's right. Well, I done ate all the Snickers, so. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow morning for breakfast.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it so
This is
much.
one of the fun things that we get to do. This is awesome.
That's all.
Yeah, it's about to get fun.
Hey, Bodiak, now you got to stay. You got to stay.
I was ready to let Fox take it over.
He's so cute.
I know,
He drives like a maniac.
Yeah?
He just has been down.
Great job, Mr. Paul.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, y'all ready to resume?
Carol, good job. Put it together.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Special presentations to Serge Villanova Harahan Music Festival.
Evening, y'all. Serge Villanova, 53 Ren Pass Avenue. Y'all, please mark your calendars for Saturday, June 1st, turn 4 in 2024, the 4th annual Harahan Music Festival and Food Drive. Free event daytime at the Harahan Playground. Of course, we did our first 3 years at Zerang Park. We've outgrown that. We're going to try a hand at a new location, a new level. And, of course, I'm very appreciative of everyone's help with the two councils and Mayor Bodia's administration. You can see immense community support for this event, and I really just think that's a great example of how Harahan is such a great place to live, work, and do business. So Saturday, June 1st, we'll have some great New Orleans artists at the Harahan Playground, like Americana New Orleans icon Lynn Drury, Shawan Rice, and Cajun French band Team Marie in the Bayou Juju with a very ambitious, awesome after party at the camp with Amanda Shaw. That'll be a ticketed event of $10. To date, we've raised around 11,000 items of food for the St. Rita Food Pantry, as well as cultivated other community betterment initiatives, using music as the foundation and using the support from the community to solidify that foundation. So we'll see y'all out there, and thank you very much again for the assistance.
Serge, can you just go ahead and give the sponsors a little bit of airtime? Let's talk about who got involved with you.
Absolutely. From day one, aside from the city of Harahan, Colonial Estates firmly expressed their interest in helping set the foundation for this event. New this year is Wood Resources, and we're glad to add them as a presenter along with the city of Harahan, as well as Colonial Estates. Local restaurants like the River Shack is helping us fund the after party. We have support from the local fire department, the local police department. Everybody pitches in to really make this thing work without incident, and we look forward to really bringing it to a new level June 1st. As well as some New Orleans organizations. We have some Jefferson Parish Council people throwing in their support, and really it is truly a community effort, and I think the results speak for themselves.
Thank you.
What's the time?
Starts at noon to 6:30 at Harahan Playground, Saturday, June 1st. From there, we're going to start the after party with Amanda Shaw at the camp at around 7:30 sharp.
Thank you, Serge.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, approval of minutes. Reading of the minutes of the council meeting on April 18th, 2024.
Reading of the minutes.
I have a motion by Councilman Asbill to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the April 18th meeting 2024. We have a second by Councilman Buddy. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on April 18th, 2024.
We have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain to approve the minutes from the meeting of April 18th, 2024. Open for public hearing. No one coming to speak forth. We'll now close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, those minutes are approved.
Okay, no communications, resolutions. Proposed resolution 2024-3. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Asbill, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Harahan to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with John Curtis Christian School for rental and improvement of city-owned property.
Okay, well, now for public hearing, anyone want to speak on proposed resolution number 2024-3, please come to the podium. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
What is,
The council,
You can't yell from the crowd, ma'am.
I'll move to reopen public hearing if she wants to come up and talk.
I can ask a question.
You can come up to public hearing and come into the podium.
Move to reopen public hearing.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Azarino,
Second.
reopen by public hearing, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor? Yay.
What is that resolution about?
It's a CEA with John Curtis Christian School.
Oh, okay, no, that's fine, thank you.
Okay.
Nice.
Ms. Barber approves. We just move forward. Move to close public
Okay,
hearing.
now we'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
Council, this is a CEA between the City of Harahan that I'm proposing and John Curtis Christian School. Councilman Chatelain and I have talked extensively with Johnny Curtis, who's the athletic director over there. This is for the continued use of the baseball field, and it's a limited use. I know Mr. Buddy has sent over some proposed amendments. However, the general gist of this is that rather than charging them a hard rental fee, they're going to make capital improvements at the playground totaling over $100,000 over the next 10 years. And those improvements are going to stay at the playground. For example, this summer, they'll be building a concession stand and press box behind Arsenault Field, which there is one right. They've already laid the concrete for it. So they're building a press box back there, and it's going to stay there for Harahan's use. And it's a limited use because they're generally done with the field at about 4 o'clock, and we don't start our practices and games until 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. So it doesn't really interfere with City of Harahan leagues, except that, if they make the playoffs and we run out of parking, we might move some games around to make sure people aren't parking 2 miles down the street. Other than that, happy to go through the amendments, and some of them I wasn't able to get through all of them, to be honest with you. But
I'm sorry, I got it to everybody late.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
that's-
finished it this afternoon.
that's fine. We can go through
Let me say that these amendments don't change the agreement. I think they just clarify some things. I read the agreement, think I understand it, and I have no qualms about it at all.
Right, because if we came up and we amended an agreement that's going to change any of the agreement, we'd have to go
Well, yeah,
back to Curtis.
Right,
Before
yeah.
we would approve.
and
But I think everything you said is just clarifying basically.
I don't think this changes the
Let me ask-
basic agreement.
let me ask this. Can we adopt, since they don't really change the meat of the agreement, can we just adopt these in globo?
Yeah, or you could approve, give the mayor permission to sign this.
In a substantially same, okay. Okay.
Let me look at it 1 second, because I had a question almost for discussion with Councilman Asbill and Chatelain on the term of the agreement.
Yeah, that was an amendment that I had.
Yeah, it didn't,
Yeah, so it should go through, did you print my amendment by any chance? No? Or did I send you my amendment? Okay. It should go through 2033. So
Yeah,
the end of December 31st, 20.
so we need to amend the wording in here to say it terminates 10 years after the date
So-
of execution, because the date of execution is when it begins, Councilman?
Yeah, so we'll say the term begins
On it-
January 1st this year of
Well,
2024.
we can say that. It currently says it begins upon
Right.
execution.
Yeah,
So it might be easier to run it 10 years from the date of execution instead of backdating it.
okay.
So.
That's fine.
Let me see if I can find that line pretty quick.
It should be 33.
I think it's on line 80. If we can look at line 80.
Maurizio wants to come up and ask a question.
No, it's too late.
About this?
I just want to understand it, that's why. Now you're explaining it better.
It's not line 80, I'm sorry. Term of the agreement.
Scott,
Line 72, maybe?
did you look at the
There's-
legal aspect of this?
There's a, I think there's something before line 72 that talks about line 76. Okay. And I think what we need to do on line 76, hereof and shall expire at midnight, 10 years from date of execution of this agreement. I'm pretty sure the agreement begins, as it's currently written, it begins when it's executed,
Can we change the begin date then?
if you'd like to.
Just because they've already made some improvements, I want them to get credit for those improvements.
Yeah, let's find the
in case we're
begin
not here
date.
in the future. Or for when we're not here in the future.
About to say. And we could come back and just continue to keep running from seat to seat.
Some people do. I've heard of that. I've heard of people doing that.
Yeah, I don't know who, but.
I'm trying to find the begin date. Don't have it memorized. And that's what we need to change then.
So is Curtis, in this agreement, do they like pick up refuge and, things like that after these games?
Yeah.
Clean up and all
Yeah, they're responsible for yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something before that, though. It's
What did you say, Kerry?
There's something in here that says the agreement
Yeah, line 75.
commences.
Line 75.
Yeah, but I think there's something else besides that.
It says
that we
agreement
need.
shall commence on the date of full execution. That's what line 75 says.
13.
Okay, well, it may not be another place. So if we make
13
that, I
as
think
well.
we're going to be good. And there was one other question I had, and I'm fine with the end result, but it is a question for Scott. This agreement provides that the Harahan Athletic Association share in one half of the rentals that John Curtis gets for their signage on the fence. I'm fine with that in theory, but I don't know if it's legal for the city to give something of value. So I don't know if that's the mechanism. Maybe the
So-
city's got to get it, and we need to pledge it.
So we're not giving anything of value. We already have a CEA that allows the HAA to sell their signs. So Curtis is still selling their signs, and Curtis is doing direct transfer to HAA, so the money never flows through us.
So basically for a sign renewal at the playground, I want to say it's $200 for renewal. It's like $400.
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
I don't know the exact numbers, but it might be around $400 for a new sign, but for renewals, $200. So basically Curtis is going on after a whole different crowd, and every banner they put up, they're going to give us $125.
HAA.
The HAA, $125
Well, Councilman
as a
Asbill,
donation.
to relook it, please read line 61 through 63. And I'm fine with it if y'all, the attorneys, think it's okay. In concept, the money's going to a great cause, it's going to support the playground. I just want to make sure it's legal.
Yeah. Scott, you looking at that?
Line 61.
61 through 63?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm good with it like that if,
But y'all are good? I'm fine.
okay, so I'll move to amend, I'm just going to amend the one thing specifically, and then we can adopt the amendments in globo, and then we can add the caveat that if the mayor needs to change anything else that doesn't substantially
Sounds
change
good.
it, we can. Move to amend the agreement to read on line 13, this agreement is made and entered into as of January 1st, 2024, and delete the words, the date of full execution by the parties.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill, as stated. We have a
I'm
second.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
I'm
go
going
ahead,
to roll it together with line 76 as well. It should say the same thing.
You gotta do this line.
75, I'm sorry.
So you do want all amendments in global, or you just want to take those two?
Just doing those two, and then we're going to adopt all the other amendments.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill for the two amendments as stated. We're now for public hearing. Anyone wanting to discuss it can now come discuss it.
Right here. Y'all should know me, Maurizio.
Good evening.
Good evening. I just have a quick question. I have no problem with the ordinance, but the guarantee improvements is those improvements, are those guaranteed? Meaning, they're going to spend all that money. Oh, like obviously y'all won't be here all the time if somebody gets reelected, but in future, you know, they're guaranteed in 10 years, they're going to spend X amount of dollars, and those improvements are guaranteed to stay here, and they're guaranteed to spend the money.
Yeah, so in
Okay.
2024, they'll make $35,000 in capital improvements.
Yeah, I saw
And
that,
then every
yeah.
year after is 15,000. And if they don't do it, then they break the contract. And
Okay.
we cancel it.
It was a pretty lengthy contract. I was
Yeah.
trying to read as fast as I can.
Right. No, I get it.
And I just wanted to make sure that was a guarantee, because
It is.
I would rather us benefit as a city if they're going to make those improvements and keep it, you know?
Right.
So, okay, that's all I really had.
And-
Thank you.
All right.
And if we could, not to get sideways with the understanding, my first change to number one was to change the word contribute these capital improvements to pay the city. So I don't know if there's much of a distinction that we could, but this needs to be amended if that's not going to work. So I didn't know who was going to have the final say on those improvements. I would think the city would.
All of the improvements would be improved by the administration that's here at that time.
Yeah.
And I believe we had this discussion with
Yeah.
Johnny. I mean,
I think it's,
he's not going anywhere.
I thought it said it in B, to be approved.
Somewhere in there it did say. Like, they can't just do what they want and call it an improvement.
Is there some preliminary schedule of stuff that they're gonna do to hit those marks? Was there any?
I mean, there was some general discussions, but every year before the season starts, they'll come and talk about the improvements, and the city's got to approve those improvements.
Okay.
And in addition, they're also going to maintain the field.
Right.
So
I mean, the maintenance of the field is a combination between them and us.
this says they're going to maintain it.
They
The city's
maintain
working
it
with
through their time, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Go back, when I was mayor, I had an agreement with Curtis. They used the field, they maintained the field, they built the field, they put mud in the field, they fixed the bleachers, they fixed the dugouts, they put a concession stand back there, a small trailer. They were allowed to sell stuff out of there, but they maintained the field. That was the agreement we made with them. We didn't have to fool with the field, our maintenance. They maintained the field. The thing is that, do you have anything about them having their summer program? Because they do have a summer program. They go out there and they have kids that pay them to go to the summer program that they have out there. Do they have an agreement with you guys during the summer?
It goes through June 30th.
The summer program?
The agreement goes through June 30th, so
No,
they
I'm asking you, not the baseball program. They have a summer program where they have kids that come out there to train them, to teach them how to play baseball and stuff.
like,
Do you have an agreement with them on the summer program, like a camp? When I was
I mean, they
mayor,
have-
they had a camp out there. I allowed them to use it, and they paid us to use that. They gave us money to use the facility for the camp.
whatever the activity is, I mean, they have use of the field, so whatever the activity is, it
Or
doesn't,
y'all gonna let them use it during the summer for camp and everything?
up until
Till
June
that date,
30th.
Okay.
June 30th.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Until that time. I mean, they normally cut off 3, 4 o'clock. That way it doesn't affect our regular.
Well, their baseball season starts earlier than
Correct.
the playground baseball season, doesn't it? It
Yes.
used to.
Yes, but I'm
Doesn't it
saying,
still?
but normally, even when they playing at the same time as us, our kids are getting there when they leaving.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really
We didn't
affect.
have any issues back when I made the agreement with them years ago.
The only time it affects us is if they get to playoffs and we top seed and we get home games. It affects a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's no issues with the agreement, they just want to do more now.
Well, y'all got a little more stuff into an agreement than I had.
Oh, sure, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's a minor cleanup point, but on line 42, we're giving them the right to use the field. This is going to clarify it's Arsenault Field because there's more than one field.
Yeah.
And equipment. I don't know what equipment.
So like the Gator, the little tractor thing that they use to move the bases and drag the field.
Drag and prep the field.
Drag and prep the field.
Do you think we need to define that equipment?
No,
Is it necessary?
I don't think so.
I mean, I think it's our equipment.
It's
They can
whatever
use
equipment
our
Stu
rakes,
allows them to use, yeah.
Our rakes, our lawnmower, whatever they got to do.
And by the way,
to
they're
maintain that
purchasing,
field.
they're also purchasing new equipment for the field as well. They're purchasing a new finishing lawnmower, like a greens lawnmower, to do the infield, and that'll become the city's property as well.
That's part of that,
Well, I don't know if they're purchasing it, they're getting one. They might be getting it donated probably,
yeah.
but
But that would be considered part of their improvements to the city.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm going through here because when we do this in global, we're going to do it in global except for a couple line items which won't apply. It would confuse things if
Well,
we,
you can approve it and give information to sign substantially similar form. And then
there you go. There you go. There you go.
I move to approve the written amendments submitted by Mr. Buddy.
Yeah, we need to approve yours. So we had a
And mine.
motion to approve Councilman Asbill's amendments. We have a second by Councilman Chatelain. We've already opened for public hearing. All in favor on Councilman Asbill's amendments?
Yay.
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 All right, 5 yeas, 0 nays. Okay, now, we're going to bring in Mr. Buddy's. Go ahead.
Move to approve the amendments as written out by Mr. Buddy in Globo, and, oh, that's it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Ricks to approve Councilman Buddy's amendments in Globo. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Thank
Move to
you.
approve the ordinance for the mayor to sign the ordinance in a substantially similar form as passed
We have a
today.
motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnston to approve proposed ordinance 2024 as amended. We'll now for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Proposed Resolution 2024-6. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Chatelain, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Harahan authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Linfield Hunter and Junius Incorporated for emergency sewer collection and treatment system overhaul.
I will now open for public hearing on proposed ordinance number 2024-6. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
This is the money we're getting from the state.
Correct. Okay. No discussion?
So, yeah, you know, this agreement, I've had conversations with the engineering company, and they agreed to some numerous changes. There are two that they're not agreeing to, and the mayor is going to make the call on that. But this agreement attached here too will be modified, numerous modifications that they've agreed to. So, you know, I trust the mayor to sign what's been negotiated to amend the two items that I suggest and that the engineering company doesn't want to do. And the mayor's opinion is the city will be better served by allowing the engineering company not to amend the contract for those two things. So maybe the thing to do is to say, to give the mayor permission to do it substantially the same form. There are changes.
What are the two substantial?
The money that we're going to use to pay for this are primarily coming from the state. And it's a program that Harahan has not administered before. And it was my understanding that we were relying greatly on the engineering company's knowledge and experience to make sure we do what we need to do, dot the i's, cross the t's to get paid. But if we don't get paid by the state, if we don't dot the i's and cross the t's and the money doesn't come, we're going to have to pay the engineering firm, and we don't have that money. So I wanted to put a term that's used in construction, a pay if paid clause, that they get paid if we get paid by the state. And they've balked on that. That is something I think we're going to need to give strong consideration to when we issue construction contracts, which are now estimated to be $5.5 million. I have no reason to believe we won't comply with their requirements, but if that money doesn't come, the city's going to be obliged to pay all of this contractually.
We're relying on their knowledge
Yeah,
and their,
yeah, that's what I understood, and, but
is that correct?
Yeah, they have done the paperwork, went through this process before with
Right.
other municipalities.
And they're-
We've never done it.
And they're approved by the state, and it's a process, and
And
they've
my-
gone through all that process.
It's a pre-approved
Well,
project.
do we know what their close rate is?
We know all the rates, we know everything.
I mean, how many have succeeded and how many have failed?
Oh, no, I would imagine that, I don't know of any, this is a very well-known reputable engineering
They
company.
didn't tell us of any that failed.
Yeah, I don't know of any that failed.
I'm sure they wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I didn't do background, but they didn't tell us.
Maybe we should at least ask the question.
Yeah,
the bad guys did you not catch?
yeah.
So my position on it was, as I was negotiating it, was, we're relying on them, that was my understanding, to help make sure that we're submitting the proper paperwork timely, not doing that work for us, but just guiding us through it. And if we're relying on them and we don't dot an I and cross a T, and we don't get paid, I would say you get paid when we get paid. The engineer has, if I was sitting on his side of the desk, I'd say, no way, Jose. This is a difficult clause to get in the contract. But, so, at the end of the day, the engineering company says, no, we won't accept the provision that I proposed for the city. The other provision was in the indemnity, in the defense provision. And I think, as I understand it, this is the only thing I put in there, that they will indemnify the city for any actions resulting from their work. And that indemnity begins upon the making of a claim. They balked at that, saying their insurance company policy wouldn't cover it. I don't understand it. I haven't seen the wording they propose. But that's the two issues. Neither will probably be a problem. Both could be a big problem. So that's where we stand.
So there is a protocol, there is a process and a protocol here, and when we come in, like say we're taking it, we break it down into phases. Engineers come, we meet, we talk about phase one. At that point, before we break any ground whatsoever, that engineer has to go to the project manager at the state level. He has to approve it. And my take on the situation is that once he approves it at that level, it's now on him. If there's no T crossed and no I dotted, it is now on him. Now, that's just my take on it. I mean, this is the first time the city's ever been awarded $4,705,000 to literally repair the entire set of sewer infrastructure. But it's gonna be on their rules, their timeline, and the way they dictate that path. And I know of some other entities right now that have kind of started to rock that boat a little bit, and now they're in a bureaucratic paperwork nightmare, and they're having a hard time drawing down on these funds. We're in a situation right now, and we declared a state of emergency when we had that rain a few months ago. We're almost at the point right now where, well, here it is, this is the fact of the matter is right now is everything we do until this agreement is approved is on us. They're not even allowing me to use the money that we've processed, that we used in the past as matching funds, not as of yet. I'm still working on that challenge, but once we get this process in order and we actually break ground and we're moving, then it gives me a better opportunity to go back and start to renegotiate the money we spent as matching funds. But again, they could still not accept it. I think we have an incredible case. That's why we filed a declaration of emergency, in order to bring in the dewatering system. And so we think we're going to continue on with that, but until we move forward with this contract, we have $4,705,000 sitting at the state that we're not touching, and time is not our friend here. I know I'm not saying that we need to rush through the project, but it's not our friend, because at any point in time, funds just get reallocated for whatever the reason may be. So once we break ground and get these things approved and move forward, I think we're in a much better position to continue to keep that ball rolling as we phase out this project. Now, this project is going to be the continuation of Wilson Street, all the way down Wilson Street from Lift Station 6, which you've seen so far, which we've done there, and then an entire rehab of Lift Station 6, as well as getting everything in the plant back up to par. And right now, we're in a situation where Lift Station 6 has a couple of gate valves that keep leaking really bad. We got to get them, as a matter of fact, 6 gate valves, and then we have a liner in one of the digesters that's bleeding air real bad. And if that thing, for any reason whatsoever, power goes out, where those bleeds are, now you're going to get sewer back into those lines, and you're going to backfeed the blower motors. And we're on the cusp of both of those becoming massive problems. And if this ain't in order, it's gonna be on us, and that's probably gonna be about another, I'd be willing to say, $500,000 easy.
That's in this proposed contract.
That's why I got everybody on hold right now. Everybody can't touch nothing, do a single stitch of work or sewer work at all right now until this contract gets,
But I mean, that work
that work will fall under this
is
dollars.
falling under here.
Absolutely.
There is always also the possibility of the Jefferson Parish sharing in some of the $5,500,000 because that $5,500,000 engineer estimate includes replacing all of Jefferson Parish's water lines, which makes a whole lot of sense because we're tearing up the street, Harry, and we're putting a new street down. They've had a lot of failures along Wilson, so we wouldn't want them going back 6 months after completion or a month and tearing up
Our brand new concrete.
a concrete street.
I've
So
got
the mayor is going to,
Question on the funding, if I may. Is there a city component to this funding?
Is there a match?
Yes.
Yes.
How much?
25%.
25%.
What is that?
$4 million.
it's $1 million.
Yeah, it's right at $1 million.
And where is that, where are those funds? Have we allocated those funds already?
We have not.
And does this resolution allocate those funds?
I don't think it does.
No.
This one does not.
Now, we
Yeah, $1,176,000.
you know, I did ask the mayor and finance, I didn't ask Todd, where the funds are going to come from, because we got to come up with a little over $1 million. And I think the conclusion was, and Mayor, help me, remind me if I get this wrong, correct me, I think the conclusion was it just about taps out the ARPA funds.
See, that's fine if that's what the council agrees to do at some point, but this resolution doesn't do that.
All right.
This resolution just gives me the ability to engage into this contract so we can,
This is,
Right, but
this was 800,000, Councilman, and just to keep it. in
oh, I
perspective.
understand, but if you engage in this contract,
need
there's
to
no
provide the match.
there's no guarantee that the funds are there to provide the match. The council has to approve the ARPA funds. The council has to approve any capital project.
I see what you're saying. Maybe we can amend this, assuming it's going to get approved tonight, in some form.
I would approve it in this form. I wouldn't approve it yet with the match included in there because
We don't have the match.
we don't have those numbers and I don't have enough information to do that tonight. That's why I was making sure the match wasn't included in here.
No, but we can find the funds from 3 different accounts, 3 different areas.
Right, yeah, it doesn't matter where we fund it from.
Yeah.
I mean, sewer fund should be getting pretty flush since we've paid a bunch of money back and,
I think we're all,
Sewer funds aren't flush.
well, the sewer fund was flush, but we've had some issues that we can't, because we're not drawing down as money. So now we have to, we got $4,705,000 sitting there that we're not drawing down. So now we're having to use sewer fund money to do point repairs. Which I can tell you, every time you do a point repair, it's 30 grand.
So where are we at?
so I think
But we should be-
we all
I don't
agree
know,
that
we
this
should be saving-
project needs to be done.
we should be saving, close to
About 20 grand.
350, 400 grand a year by running the plant ourselves.
But that just started.
No, I get it.
So that it's
I- no, I
not
under-
flush yet.
I understand.
But
It'll get there, it's just gonna take a little
it's
time.
going to take a minute.
This project, for everybody to keep this in mind, this is less than a half a mile
Oh, this is
of
small.
street.
And a plant, well, you got plant.
Yeah, and about a 6 or 8, maybe 600,000 of plant work. But the total project cost is $6.2 million. And we're doing a relatively small section of our collection system, a small portion. It's minuscule. So when we talk about the sewer plant being flush, if we had to do anything like this on another street, it's
We
going
out-
to be $5.5 billion. We are not flush,
So-
and we're going to have other problems. We've had massive sewer problems in the last 5, 6, 7 years, and we've spent a hell of a
So-
lot of money on them. But my point is, this is a very expensive endeavor. So I want to just say that if you had $200,000 of cash, or 3 or 4, free cash sitting in the sewer fund right now, that's not flush.
No, that's not.
No, I understand, but we also got to understand, as a council and a mayor and a city, that these problems have been going on since before Mr. Paul was mayor, through
Absolutely.
Mr. Paul's mayor term, and we're not going to fix them in the next 2 years. We're not going to fix all of them in the next 2.5 years.
Unless there's a catastrophic failure, and then we're going to have to come up with a plan.
So I believe after the engineers, everybody looked at, this is a major part of our problem where a lot of our saying still getting into our plan.
Every project is
But I-
always because of this one project.
Well, no, I think,
It's all the
I
same
think it was the
project.
priorities, and,
It's all-
we're
it's all
going
the
piece
same
by
project.
piece.
But
But
understand,
it's gonna be another piece
but
next.
we redo 6, now we go to 4. All the sand's coming through 4. We got to fix it. It's an emergency. You understand what I'm saying?
Now, the plus here is that the administration and with effort of the council over the many trips to Baton Rouge and not lobbying, but impressing upon state legislators who we are, what our needs are, and showing an interest in government, the administration has gotten the state to cough up $4.7 million for this project. Never happened in the history of Harahan. And it may not happen again. I hope it does. But
And I'm gonna sit here and say,
so we got to use this money.
I mean, we've sat in a meeting, we went over these numbers with the engineers, me and you, and I'm gonna sit and say, we plan on meeting with the parish about part of this still too.
Yes.
And that could be a couple $100,000 possible.
Absolutely.
Because when we do this project, these estimates are replacing all of the water lines in that same area too. That way we don't have to come back 6 months after we finish and replace water lines that might have broke, because we're getting a lot of broken water lines in this area. So some of this money right here, we might be able to get from the parish, which
use it for
we can't
something.
guarantee, but
Right.
we're gonna call a meeting and set it up and
For
see
the
if we can.
public's knowledge, and most people, I think, know it. Jefferson Parish supplies
No,
water
that's
for
what I'm saying, we have to
Harahan,
talk to them.
and Jefferson Parish is obliged to maintain our water system.
come back for funding.
When we have a water break, Jefferson Parish
It'll have to
comes
come
out,
back.
fixes it.
But
Harahan
it'll have to
doesn't
come
do
back
it
for
unless we're
funding.
putting a Band-Aid on it to stop
Let me ju-
traffic concerns,
And
safety
let-
concerns. So
I'm sorry.
that's why we're talking about when you tear this section of street up and we go in and replace sewerage, collection system, and
Because
we
this only just
pour
gives you
concrete,
the
while
ability
that's
to
happening,
sign into the contract.
it would
We have
make
to
a
come
whole
back.
lot of sense
Can't
for the
spend
parish
it.
to ante up the money to replace their water line. Will they do it? They may balk. They may say, we don't have the money. Great idea, but we don't have the money. Then the city will have to decide whether we do the work or not.
We just close the street.
But the problem is, I don't know if they would even do the project without replacing the water lines. Like if we say, oh guys, we don't have enough money to replace that water lines. Because this project was approved by the state as it's engineered, and if we say we're not gonna replace the water lines, basically we just voided the contract with the state.
Yeah, then we can't sign the agreement. Because we can't go replace, we can't take care of our own business, we can't take care of the parish's business.
I haven't reviewed the cooperative endeavor agreement we have with the state. There is one, I'm told, and I think I have a copy of it. I think it was sent to me. I haven't looked at it. So I don't know what that agreement states. I do know from speaking with the engineers and seeing some letters that the state has approved that plan. Now, would they approve a modification to it if we took, let's say, $500,000 water line and said we were going to use it on another sewage collection system repair? My thought is they probably would, but there's no certainty. Again, the CEA is going to be a controlling document.
But they might say, if you eliminate the water line, we eliminate X amount of funding.
Or they might just say, look,
Yeah, I agree with you.
y'all go figure out your business, and when y'all got it, come back, we're gonna go ahead and reallocate these funds someplace else.
They might do that as well.
And once you lose them funds, chances are you're not getting them
Yeah,
back.
so there, regardless of what happens with the engineering contract, there's some things to consider. The mayor's aware of them, and the final plan isn't determined yet. But we're not going to do anything to put this grant at risk.
Now you can possibly lose the $400.
We have one of them.
So I'm just gonna kind of clarify a little something that Councilman Chatelain is saying. So sand is not the issue that it once was. It's the problem of, the problem of developing a line that Colonial will tie into that will ultimately, again, facilitate a $2 million tax growth a year. That's their lawn that they're coming in right there. That lawn starting, when we took it over, we took the part that was completely failing because it was in people's backyards. That entire Wilson Street is built on a river silt sandbar. And so what's happening is you're catching spots in that street where you're seeing big dips. And what we're doing is we're losing ground. And what we did on Wilson Street is why we went back with concrete and not blacktop, was we put screw piles under every manhole to keep that structure in place. That needs to be done all the way down Wilson Street to try to keep the structure in place. It's not much as a sand issue yet. It will be a sand issue soon, because if we don't, we're gonna have some, we're gonna have a lot of sand in the plant, and then we're gonna be breaking things
So-
again.
I'm glad you said that regarding, some of this is to accommodate Colonial. They made a big prepayment of fees for sewer impact. Do we know what has been spent of that? And is it accounted for separately, or?
It's accounted for separately in the sewer fund. I'd have to research or get the answer for you as to how much is left.
I mean, is there some left?
I don't know.
You don't know?
It was
We
only,
do
it was
have the-
150,000?
It was more than that. Wasn't it?
The other funds are still in the capital fund. I do know that.
Which other funds are those?
250,000, I think there was 100,000 for recreation.
Right, yeah, so the lump sum is in the capital fund. There was 100 for recreation and 150 for sewer, advanced sewer payments. But they're also collecting, on every new build or remodel, they're collecting a new sewer impact fee, which for a new house is ranging from $6,000 to $8,000 or something like that,
Just for the sewer?
just for the
impact fee?
sewer impact fee.
Yeah. And one of the points,
And we've got significant new builds going up in the city.
Yeah, everywhere.
Outside of Colonial.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah. All right.
and I foresee where the only thing I just know a little bit about, when we fix these sewer problems, I don't foresee the city having a sewer problem for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready to move forward with the resolution. I'm just worried regarding if it's going to come back for funding, where we get that funding from, and if it becomes an issue where we have to break the agreement with the state because we're not going to do water lines and the parish isn't going to pay for water lines. And so now we've got to break this agreement, and there's some fee, I'm sure, associated with breaking this agreement.
Well, what could be done, and it hasn't been discussed, but if we can approve this tonight and giving the mayor authority to do it in substantially as provided here, that gives the mayor the authority to go back, and we could go to the engineers and say, we have a provision where we can stop the work. They don't earn it all on day one. So we can revisit that and talk to them about it and say, if we get to a point where we're putting the brakes on this project, we're terminating the contract, we'll pay you for what we owe you. That may already be in there, because we have the ability in the draft, not in this agreement, but in the draft that I proposed to them and they have accepted, in effect, we've got the ability to terminate their contract, just pay them for what work they've done. We could double check that.
And also, again, as we phase this work out, it won't be one hit all at one time. It'll be phased out as we pay those construction guys. They'll reimburse us back 75%. We pay our 25%. And it won't be one, if we get to the point where we can't fund the project anymore, then we stop where we are.
Mayor, I'm just seeing what Councilman Asbill just said. If the parish, or we don't replace the water line, that may cause the state not to pay for the job? Is that
I'm
what he
just saying,
said?
the state approved this project as it was presented to the state.
With the water line.
With the water line in it. I'm not saying they won't, I'm just saying that's how it was approved.
What happens is it comes through something called the water sector program. And inside the water sector program, everything is going to be sewer and water together. It's never going to be broke out. They'll never, because it's DEQ and it's EPA. They're never going to break it out. They're never, I mean, sorry, it's not, God dog it, I can't think, it has another acronym, and, but it's always going to be, because that's what's run under that program. That's always water and sewer together, and that's why they've combined it in there. Look, I think that the parish is going to be more than likely to come jump in and help us, because I know in that section of the street, the water lines are old cast, and I know they'd love to replace them. I don't think they're going to have a problem with that at all. I mean, they're constantly, we just had, another leak over there. They would love the ability to come in with a coupon and replace that for half the cost, knowing that we're going to recover those, we're going to put all of that concrete back, and that won't be at no cost to them.
But what I don't want them to do, as selfish as it may be, is to come in and decide, yeah, we'll replace Wilson's water lines, but we're delaying the Royal Land project, because that project's already on the books.
What's the Royal Land project?
All the water lines and drain lines and Royal
Oh,
and Royal Land.
yeah, I think this is a matter of just putting PVC in, you plug, you turn the valve, put the PVC in, drop it and go. I don't think it's that, to me, I know I'm simplifying it, but.
I know, but, no, and I understand that, I get what you're saying, but I just don't want it to mess
I
up
think
somebody else's neighborhood.
It's a little more than that.
Roy Land's got to be replaced. We know that. I mean, you know how many times we've been on water breaks out there. I think that's going through no matter what. I don't think that has anything to do with this. And I know that the parish has been so willing to jump in
My
and
deal
help
is,
us.
we've never approached the parish with this project yet, which we need to do it. But in the same note, I'm gonna sit right here and say this project needs to happen,
I agree.
with or without their approval.
Yeah, no matter what,
We've
I
got to take
agree.
advantage
I
of
want their approval, I want their blessing, I want to make it work with them. I think they will, but
I want that
can't
partnership.
speak for them, yeah.
Right, and I think they will. I think I'm hoping they'll
Yeah,
be there.
we can't, I mean, I agree with you, Councilman Chatelain, and the mayor, and everybody. I think we can't put this grant at risk. We lose too much if we do anything to put it at risk. We'd be better off paying our share of that, replacing those water lines, and going forward with it as planned
Than
than,
losing the $4 million.
Absolutely.
And basically, this isn't a project, like the mayor basically said, this is a project that's gonna happen overnight.
This is probably a 2-year project.
PVC pipe.
It's a PVC pipe. I mean, when he quits being mayor, he could be a plumber.
Yeah.
He
Put a
could be
little
a
pipe
plumber
dope on it,
next.
put the pipe together, look, let's rock and roll, put a clamp
So,
it
Mayor,
up,
that ought
we're
to be
done.
about a $200 job.
Mayor, that might not be how we got here in the first place.
We'll have to ask Councilman Johnson, because that's happened when he was the mayor, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I do think that the parish is going to be, my own feeling is that the parish knows that's a problem lawn, and for them to come in, it'd be so easy for them to drop their lawns in and roll. It would save them probably millions in the long run of not having to constantly go do point repairs. When I took over I wasn't even mayor for a week or two before we blew a lawn on Wilson Street, and we were there. I left at 3 in the morning. I don't know how long they were there, and every time they clamped onto that old cast, it just broke again. It was so frail and fragile. It just broke again and again and again and again, and before you know it, they
It breaks
replaced it.
10 feet down the
That's
street.
right. And so I think they'll jump at the chance to be partners with this
Well, I hope so.
with us.
So the mechanism to approve this tonight will be as the mayor deems fit in his best judgment.
About that. And approved in like or better terms, I think is the right terminology.
Well, there you go.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
I mean, basically, say you're gonna do the plumber for $250.
That's right, I got this.
That's $2 in business.
I got
Yeah.
this. I got it.
But didn't you have some specific amendments to,
I don't have any of it with me. I have a file on it.
but those, that would be like or better terms?
Yeah, that would be like a better terms. And it's a document that was submitted to Junius, the engineering firm.
They approved all but the two.
It's all oral, yes. They approved all but the two, and one would just be a straight deletion. The other one would require them to come back with some counter wording.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we could get to that in short order. And they didn't question any of the other modifications. So I'm sitting here assuming that they would go with the document the city sent them,
But for.
but for those two areas. One would be deleted, the pay if paid, and the other one,
Nobody's doing that.
a lot of people do that.
Not government.
They got burned after, I mean, they're getting burned right now.
Contractors do that. They don't like it, they do it.
Okay, so we have a motion to, do we have a motion to approve? We have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Ricks to approve proposed resolution 2024-6, We'll open for public hearing if anyone wants to speak forth again, because we took our time on that. We'll now close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Thank you, council.
So Councilman Asbill, do you want to take a stab at the amending wording in the resolution to approve?
Were you talking?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
What did you say?
You want to take a stab at the amending wording for the resolution, talking about giving the mayor the authority on substantially these or bettered terms? Yeah. Because he's not going to be approving this, he's not going to be executing this document. And we just want to make sure that we're giving him the authority.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to do that tonight? I thought we just, did we just vote on it?
We
to
did,
approve
we
it?
approved it.
Okay.
You're just asking if you wanted to work on the
No,
follow-up.
in like or better terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
All right, Madam Clerk. Proposed resolution 2024-8.
No, we amended the agenda. We're going to jump to proposed ordinance 2024-9.
Okay.
Yep.
The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman Johnston. An ordinance to repeal ordinance number 1046, limiting the number of terms of office which any elected official may serve in its entirety.
Okay, we have up for discussion proposed ordinance number 2024-9. Anyone want to speak on 2024-9? Public hearing is now open.
Come on.
Mayor, council, good evening, chief. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on this ordinance. I don't agree with it. I mean, I get it. I mean, I get it, you know, if you have term limits, you lose all that knowledge, excuse me, sorry.
Institutional knowledge?
Yeah, you lose all that knowledge from, and having to pass on to somebody who's new, but then also having somebody who's new on the council, newer ideas, fresh ideas. I just don't want it to be this cyclical, you know, let's jump around mayor, council like it was years ago. I don't mind the chief.
You can still do that.
Well, yeah, but I don't want it to be continuous incumbents,
Obviously.
you know, continuous
You
incumbents.
can still do that.
Well, yeah, I know that. I mean, I don't mind the chief. You know, he can.
Really?
No term limits on the chief. I agree with him. You know, I don't mind him running until, you know, he wants to retire. I like him. But I just think it's just having those term limits are important. I mean, sitting out and coming back is fine. It's okay. But I just don't want to have to. You know, someone like me, I would like to have a chance to sit on city council and volunteer myself. So that's why I don't agree with it. So I would hope you vote no. But I mean, if you vote no, or if it passes out, it's got to go to the vote for the people as well.
That's right.
So I mean, it's ultimately the will of the people for Harahan to decide that. So, but that's just my opinion on this ordinance, or yeah, proposed ordinance.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I agree with Maurizio. I think 2 terms is enough for anybody. We need to have fresh ideas and new people on the council. And if somebody in the council runs for mayor, so be it. The people will decide. But I think term limits, 2 terms is enough for anybody. The President of the United States serves 2 terms. The parish president, other state representatives and senators will serve 2 terms, and that's it. So I think 2 terms is enough.
State senators and state representatives
State
serve 3
senators,
terms.
state reps serve 3 terms.
Well, if the president and the governor serve 2 terms, that's enough. We need new ideas, new people coming in and serving on the council. And as Maurizio said, he would like to serve on the council one day. So, thank you.
Okay, no one else coming to the podium. We'll now close public hearing. All right, Councilman Chatelain, your ordinance. You want to talk about it?
I'll speak.
I'm going to put it to a vote of the people.
I'll speak.
Well, no, I have some comments.
I have some comments.
Okay.
So,
Go first.
You want me to go first?
Yes, sir.
I'll be glad to. This is my 4th term serving as your councilman. I was elected 2 times in the 90s. I ran in 2010, was elected again. I ran again and was elected again. I was elected 4 times as your councilman.
Must have
I
liked
think term limits is a good idea. I only second this because I think the people have the right to vote. I don't want to ever stop people from voting on stuff, but I'm in favor of term limits. But I think 3 terms is the way to go. Your state reps have 3 terms. Your state senators have 3 terms. Your school board members have 3 terms. All the new thing now is 3 terms. And we did this back in the 90s when they did it in Jefferson Parish, and they did it with the state, with the governor. Well, the governor's been 2 terms. The governor's the only state elected official that's got 2 terms. The lieutenant governor, the secretary of the state, the treasurer, all the other elected officials in the state all have unlimited terms. Just the one state, the governor, is the only one that has term limits, 2 terms. I think the governor ought to have 3 terms. Give him a little more time. He's governor for 1 term. Bobby Jindal, here's Bobby Jindal, governor for 1 term, did a great job. His 2nd term as governor, he's running for president. Did a terrible job as governor. If he'd had 3 terms, he might have done a better job. He's not worried about running for president. So I think 3 terms is the way to go. But I'm in favor of term limits. And the only reason why I supported this, backed Eric on this, is because I think the people have the right to vote on it. So that's why I supported and voted and seconded to give the people the opportunity to vote on it. Now, I'll address the resolution that we have coming up because I see the date's been changed on the election, which I'm not in favor of.
That's why I went.
But we'll address that when it comes up to the resolution.
Okay, Councilman Butler.
I will, oh.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, Councilman Asple.
No, I thought you were.
No, I haven't. My comments are similar to Councilman Johnson's. I believe in term limits and was comfortable with 2 term limits, but Councilman Chatelain's argument with his presentation got me to thinking that 3 term limits would be good. I could vote for 3 term limits. I'm not running again, but other people may, and it'll be good for Harahan, the continuity. My first term, I wasn't able to produce for the city nearly as much as I can now. And in 2.5 years, I'm gone. And other councilmen sitting up here right now will be gone. That institutional knowledge on how to get things done is really important. A 3rd term is not out of context with what the state's doing. I think Westwego may be 3 terms.
No, unlimited.
No term limits on the West.
Oh, they're unlimited.
Yep.
So my concern with this ordinance is, I don't want to, I would like us to amend this ordinance with 3 or 4 whereases to explain that the goal, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the goal is to get to 3 term limits. And but it's been explained to us by council, I believe, that you can't put to the voters, amend the 2-term limit to 3 terms. We can't ask the voters to vote on that. I don't understand the law, but that's what I'm told. So it's my understanding that the goal is to go from 2-term limits to 3-term limits. And correct me if I'm wrong, Councilman Chatelain, I'm regurgitating what I think I understood. But that we've been advised by council that we cannot ask the citizens to amend the 2-term limit to a 3-term limit. That we had to go from term limits, which is now 2-term limits, to 0. And it's, I guess the implication is that if a councilman votes for that under that theory tonight, they would be willing to commit publicly that upon this passing, we all of a sudden have no term limits, that we will propose a similar election for the citizens to go to 3-term limits. If the other councilmen have any inclination to do it, I've roughed these 3 or 4 whereases out, and it'll take a few minutes to clean it up. But basically, it would explain what we're trying to do, and it would explain that we would say something like, if any councilman voting for approval of this ordinance with that whereas in it, it is that councilman's intention to pass an ordinance for public vote that would provide for 3 terms. And so if we vote for this, and we are truly trying to get the 3 term limits, then we're on record. It's not legally binding, it's certainly morally binding, that we're going to turn right around when that passes, if it passes, and suddenly we have no term limits, that we're going to propose a similar vote by the people to get to go to three terms. That's kind of what I think Councilman Chatelain explained that he was trying to get to. So I would like to put it in here. So if we make these 3 or 4 whereases, this passes, I'll be on record if I vote for this, and I can vote for that. I'm not sure I can vote for it in its current, position. I'd like whoever votes for this to be committing that they're on board with that and that they commit to propose a resolution upon passage of this, they commit to propose a resolution to provide for term limits with 3 terms.
Which would go back to a vote of the people.
Yes, yes.
Tonight, all you're doing is approving to put it to the vote of the people.
Exactly.
It could fail. Just like you say, we're guaranteed 2 term limits right now. We're not guaranteed 2 term limits. We have an election every 4 years. If I'm doing a bad job, I'm not going to be elected in 4 years. So when you put it to where you 3 terms, you still might only get 1 term. You might get 2. You might get 3. You have an election every 4 years. The people vote every 4 years who they want to serve. I mean, I think it's fair to let the people pick every 4 years. I mean, you could get a clown up here, and he might get elected 1 time. You might get elected 3 times. I mean, you're not guaranteed 2 terms. You're not guaranteed 3 terms. Right now, you cannot serve more than 2 terms. You could be up here doing the best job in the world. Obviously, Mr. Paul did a good job. He's been elected numerous times. Tim Bodier did a good job. He's been elected numerous times. We've been reelected. We obviously did a good job. So I look to let the people choose who they want to be elected at that time.
But our goal is to get the 3 terms, right?
Goal is to get the 3 terms.
My comments will mirror everybody else's, but I just want to say them to get them out there, is that I do also agree with term limits. I will add one caveat to why I think there should be additional terms, is that, everybody else, every other municipality within Jefferson Parish, except for us and Kenner, I think.
Correct.
Are unlimited terms. And it does put us at a disadvantage when we build relationships in the first term and extend those relationships in the second term, and then we're gone and we've got to start over. And those relationships include relationships with the guys in Baton Rouge who are doling out money. And so if we're able to extend those relationships 1 more term to get more money to bring back to the city, I'm happy to do that. Because I think we've done it as a council and a mayor for the first time.
Very well.
Very well in the history of the city. And I'd like us to continue to do it as long as possible to benefit the city. And it just puts us at a disadvantage when the West Bank gets to do it
Just continuously.
term after term after term after term. But I do agree with term limits. I think there needs to be some term limits. And so I like the amendments that you will propose, I think, as far as adding whereases of us going on record.
Yeah. And it
With the
explains
intention
to the
of it,
public,
yeah.
if anybody prints a copy of this and reads it, what our goal is. Our goal is not to do away with term limits. Our goal is to go from 2 term limits to 3, and that this is a necessary process.
And the thing is, I'm going to say it, you got 4 people up here who have the knowledge are going to be termed out. So when these 4 are going after this election here, you have 2 people up here who have, one has a lot more knowledge because he's ran numerous times, but Mr. Ricks, he's only got 4 years.
If they're reelected.
If he's reelected, if
Right.
he wants to be reelected, but he's got 4 years experience. So you just lost 16 years experience up here in relationships with people they've built over the past years. So
And those
that's one reason I'm looking
have
to
generated millions of dollars.
And there's a
for
good
the city.
chance in any one of your terms in 8 years, you're getting a hurricane. So that's going to tie up. I mean, look, the first term as mayor for me, I got COVID in 2 hurricanes. And so I really didn't, we are just now 5.5 years into actually starting to put some programs that are really in place to really try to really tackle sewer infrastructure issues head on and not be reactive, but to be proactive. And then, when you get put back, because even within a 12-year period, you definitely getting a hurricane in one of those terms. I mean, and that was a tough. It was tough for the city, and we were very well as council and myself came together, and as police chief, and we really championed through it to really turn lemons into lemonade. But still, it bit up a lot of our time in moving, the city forward. And so it was, my thought process, and like I said, this is to the vote of the people. I think, at least having 3 terms does give us somewhat of a more competitive advantage in Jefferson Parish. And Kenner is also looking at the same thing as well, because like the council said, when, you're up there trying to work at our cause, and you're working with the mayor who knows everybody there because she's been here 10 years. For instance, the Mayor Gretner built that project that she's got that stores water, that keeps our city from flooding. It's a greenway park. It took her 10 years to get this park in place. And it's just one of them things that, I think it's important, and we need to look at it and have it go to the voting people, see what they think.
Point about the fact we'll probably have a hurricane. What this administration has had to do is deal with FEMA. And boy, you talk about a learning curve. And FEMA's difficult under the best of situations. We had a learning curve because we didn't have any institutional knowledge.
Well, we had a learning curve because FEMA don't know what the hell they're doing either. But
Yeah, right.
But it would have been even, it would be.
Make sure everybody knows.
It may be better better than the current situation we're in. We may be able to move the next hurricane's claims along quicker because we have learned. And it's just like dealing the relationships with the state legislators. Knowledge of how to deal with FEMA will make it easier. We'll get to the end result quicker, less effort, spending less money.
Any context for FEMA?
And another thing I would like to say, if we get to where the citizens can go to 3 terms, if we can legally do it, the people up here don't get to serve 3 more terms. In other words, the mayor would be able to serve 1 more term, and the 2 councilmen that have served 2 terms can serve 1 more term. And if I decide to run again, I could serve 2 more terms because I'm only served 1 term. But they wouldn't be able to serve 3 more terms, and it'd be 5 terms. They'd be able to serve 1 more term and make the 3 terms.
Come on.
But we tried to do that back in 2009, Eric. That's when you pulled the ordinance up. 2009, we tried to. We had an ordinance we put up when I was mayor to put before the people to go to 3 terms, and we couldn't do it because you have to go do away with term limits, put it before the vote of people, and come back with a 3-term vote, and we didn't do it. But we tried to back in 2009 because we felt back in 2009 that 3 terms is the way to go, but 2 terms isn't enough because, like they say, you learn in the first 4 years, the second 4 years, when you get the weight, you get moving, you get to learn, you're gone. So that's 3 terms is the way. That's why the school board went to 3 terms, because they're learning. 2 terms, you don't have enough time to learn and keep moving. So, but it's hard to change it. That's the thing. It's going to be hard to change. We'll just see what happens.
So
Because people aren't going to trust us. People aren't going to trust us. They're not going to trust us. Government. People don't trust government anymore. You see by the turnout in the votes, 13%, 15% of people are voting. They're not going to have the confidence in their elected officials to vote to do away with term limits because they're not going to feel that we're going to stick to our word and go with 3 terms. They're going to think, well, if we do away with term limits, they're going to say, well, the hell with it, we don't have term limits anymore. That's why we got to make sure that people understand that we're going to do 3 terms.
I can guarantee you people don't watch this meeting on TV. And look who's here at this meeting.
Right.
You need to have a town hall or something at the playground. Y'all get together and explain everything to the citizens. Why is that funny?
This is the town hall. We're absolutely not doing a town hall. This is the town hall. This is the town hall. It's aired on TV. It's aired on YouTube. If people are
They're not
that
going to watch
interested,
it. I know. They don't care.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why you had a 13% voters turnout.
That's right.
13%.
If they don't care tonight, why should they care at a town hall?
I know.
Don't
know.
No, I mean, you're here. I mean, you're concerned.
But you know what? Supposing I start with postings on We the People of
Right,
Harahan.
you get them all riled up.
No,
like you
I know.
do.
I did.
Yeah,
Because
you do.
I didn't
You get 'em
trust
all
you.
riled up.
But if you,
That's right.
start explaining yourself on all these proposals
I think we just did.
legally, yeah, I know you did.
Right, so I've got an idea. Since you like to get people engaged, I'll send you the clip from YouTube, and you can post that clip on Facebook. Will you
I'll do
that
it.
for me?
Yes, I
All right,
will.
thank you very
Yes, I
much.
will, because people look at my stuff.
So what
They
I'd
do.
like to do
All right.
now is motion for a 5-minute recess so I can draft out these, because I've got scribble here I did late this afternoon.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Councilman Asbill. We're going to recess for 5 minutes.
Order.
Okay, it is now 8:05. We're going to call a meeting back to order. Mr. Tom, floor is yours.
Yeah, I propose to amend ordinance 2024-9 by adding after the first paragraph, which reads on line 7, which any elected official may serve, comma, in its entirety, the following, comma. Whereas, as councilmen voting yea on this ordinance 2024-9 strongly believe it would be in the city's best interest to allow for elected officials of the city of Harahan to serve 3 consecutive terms. Whereas the elected officials of the city of Harahan are currently limited to 2 consecutive terms. Whereas the city has been advised by legal counsel that the law of the state of Louisiana does not allow transition directly from 2 consecutive terms to 3 consecutive terms. Whereas the citizens must first vote to eliminate term limits. Whereas, should the citizens vote to eliminate term limits, the councilman voting yea on this ordinance hereby pledge to vote to pass an ordinance providing for term limits of 3 consecutive terms, and put such proposal to a vote of the citizens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whereas.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Buddy to add his 5 whereases to proposed ordinance number 2024-9. We have a second by Councilman Asbill. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. All in favor?
Yea.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Carrie, I can sit down. You can't read my handwriting and additions.
All right, Madam Clerk?
Move to approve as amended.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we're going to move to approve as amended proposed ordinance number 2024-9. We have a motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor to approve as amended?
Yeah,
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to jump back to proposed resolution 2024-8. Give me a second, sorry. Proposed resolution 2024-8. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Chatelain. A resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the city of Harahan, state of Louisiana, to vote upon an amendment to the current city charter, making application to the State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
Okay, we have a proposed resolution 2024-8. If anyone would like to come forth and speak on it, please come forward. If not, public hearing is now closed. Councilman Chatelain, would you like to begin?
Okay. So just to explain, this is the resolution calling for the election for that ordinance we were just discussing. There are some necessary amendments, and then I know there are some contested amendments. So if possible, can we go through the necessary amendments, get those through regarding the language? Those are from council, those are from election counsel Jason Akers. So if we can, I will propose those redlined amendments on lines 5, line 6, line 18.
5, 6, and 18.
18 is the time, just the time portion of it. And then lines 70 and 71.
70 and 71.
And then also in the exhibit, the time and precinct red line changes.
So everything in red, Councilman Asbill, on our copy?
Everything except the date is what we're moving to approve in Globo.
Right.
Everything except the date of the election.
Okay, so on the Exhibit A, we're not changing, on this vote, we're not changing line 4, where we're changing the date. We're changing the time, we're correcting the precincts.
That's correct.
Correct?
That's it on the exhibit. And then on the affidavit, would be all of those changes.
Let's see, where's the affidavit?
It doesn't say affidavit, it says State of Louisiana Jefferson Parish at the top. It's the clerk's signature page.
Oh, okay.
See that? And those are that's today's date because we didn't do it last month. And then
Right, good, yeah.
Okay, the problem is, if I'm not sure, if we amend 18, that is the election on November 5th. That's the date they open the polls up early on November 5th because it's a federal election. Is that correct?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know why that's
I think when you have a federal election, they open up the polls at 6. When you have like we have on December 7th, I don't know if that's election, a federal election, I'm not sure.
Miss Barber, they open at 6 for presidential,
An hour earlier.
for
Y'all
presidential
normally
election?
open up 8? Y'all normally open up at 8, the regular election? Thought y'all opened up at 7.
I'll go vote earlier than 8.
To be here at 6, so it must be 7 o'clock.
Okay,
So it'll be an hour earlier.
okay.
So we'll make sure these,
Well, then we won't do the time yet either.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to
don't-
say,
don't
let's
do the
just not
time.
vote on line 18 right now.
Yeah, we're not voting on line 18, 17, 18, 40,
41.
41. Everything else we're moving forward on. And those are just minimal language changes to,
Legal.
that legal said we should have.
Right, we need those regardless, correct?
Yes, correct. Whether the election is November or December, we need those regardless, correct.
Right.
So I move to approve those in globo.
I second.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Buddy to approve proposed ordinance 2024-8 amendments. We're open for public hearing, no one coming forward.
Well, you want to clarify which lines?
All amendments except for times and dates.
Okay.
There we go, all amendments except
election.
for times and dates. Okay, all in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays on the amendments proposed except for times and dates.
Wait, what's the date over the vote?
Well,
We're
we
gonna-
haven't,
We're about to
We haven't-
discuss that
there's
now.
discussion on the date. The currently proposed date is Tuesday, November 5th. I would move to amend it to Saturday, December 7th. We already have an election scheduled at that time as well, at 7 o'clock.
Why are we changing it
Well,
from the...
no, let's vote on this, because that's a whole different discussion.
We did, we voted on that.
We already voted on the other one.
Oh, okay.
Nice, bring up
I
December
thought we
7th.
voted, I'm sorry.
Why
I
are you
thought-
changing
okay.
December?
You have a bigger turnout on November 4th.
Why are you changing it from November 5th to December 7th?
Yeah.
So my belief is, on Saturday, December 7th, we're going to have other Harahan elections. So I'd take it off the federal election day and separate it to where we'd be with smaller election times. More people could concentrate, we could concentrate on getting our people out to know what they're going to vote for. I feel if people go in for presidential election, they vote for president, walking out.
I disagree with you on that.
I do too.
I disagree. You go on...
Ms. Barber?
Barbara. December 7th is Christmas holiday. It's a Saturday. People are going to be shopping. There's going to be a low turnout. It's not much on the ballot. It's going to be another 15 to 20% turnout.
Agree.
November 5th, it's a Tuesday. It's the presidential election. You're going to have
Agree.
50 to 60% turnout.
Yeah.
You're going to have more people
Ms. Barber,
voting.
this is not public.
And I
this is
think
not
that
public
we need to
discussion.
keep it on November
Oh, so
5th.
it'll come up.
And I look at the original resolution y'all did, elections, it's 8 o'clock. You got 8 o'clock on original, and y'all got 7 here, so. The original ordinance y'all did, resolution y'all did, it says 8 o'clock. So,
It says 8 PM, right?
yeah. The original one y'all did.
That's what time it
It's still
closes?
going to close at 8 p.m.
That's what time it closes?
Oh, it says, okay, I see, it says 6 a.m. They don't know.
Yeah, it is.
So it must be federal must open at 6, because I know federal's
didn't
open
know that.
earlier.
I didn't know that.
They open earlier.
Well, this is a change that council made, and he was probably assuming the election date would be approved.
Correct, probably.
So
November
I'm
5th.
assuming, you said that was one that council recommended we change. So I guess if it's not, if the other amendments aren't voted to go forward, the time would revert back to 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So my proposal is to change the dates from Tuesday, November 5th to Saturday, December 7th.
So what is on the election on December 7th? Local issues, you said?
We'll have a fire
There's a
millage
fire
renewal.
millage renewal and other parish millage renewals.
That's not what Dennis DeMarco told me when I spoke to him yesterday.
On Saturday, December
He
7th. they
told
will be-
me that they may have a constitutional amendment, and the school board may have something, but he's not sure.
And there will be a
He never
fire,
mentioned anything about the
there
fire.
will be a fire millage renewal as well.
He never mentioned it.
For Harahan?
'Cause it might not be proposed to him yet.
They may have it on November 5th.
It's going to be set for December 7th.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Chatterling to move November 5th to December 7th. Do I have a second?
And I will say, I'm sorry, we're voting on the amendment? Is it? You need a second for the
Yeah, we're
amendment?
voting on
Okay, I'll second the
another series
amendment.
of
And are we going to
amendments.
have discussion again?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second the amendment. Quick discussion on it. If we don't move it to Saturday, December 7th, because it was deferred a month, we may be past the timeline to submit it to the State Bond Commission. I would have to look up,
Go ahead.
what's the timeline, Mr. Paul?
You go ahead and talk. Go ahead and talk.
All right, well, I've got an email regarding the fire millage that sets out the timeline for the State Bond Commission. If you'd be patient, I'll look it up and see when that was.
Well, it's our fault. Bad, shame on us for not getting it together and getting to the bond commission on time. If you say we missed the bond commission to get this.
Well, let them determine it, and we'll.
Well, I wasn't here for the deferral,
It
so
was
Shame
up
on
for a
us.
vote last month, and we deferred it.
Well, shame on us if we missed the bond commission.
Melissa, that's me? So this says the time frame to call this, for the city to call the election for November was April 18th. The State Bond Commission meets, they actually met today.
Well, yeah, we would have missed it if we'd voted on it last month, probably.
No, you would have had time
No.
to submit it, because they met today.
We would have submitted it.
And then the next time, they meet every quarter, so the next time they meet would be September 19th is the next time they meet.
It's probably too late to get it on the ballot.
It's too late to get on November ballot at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sounds like.
saying.
Yep.
Is it,
Well,
is it going to be enough time to get on the December ballot?
Yes.
Yes.
well, I think we're kind of backed into the December 7th change.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And just for the record, I would prefer not to change the date, but
Me too.
we can't
Right.
not change the date unless we table it completely.
Right.
And there's no reason to table it.
I agree.
Okay, so we have a
known
motion
that.
by Councilman
We'd have
Chatterling
voted on it
to,
last month. We'd have known that. We'd had a time period to get it to the bond
Well,
commission.
if we'd, I think we deferred it partially.
Because it only had three of us here.
Yeah, we wanted the full council to vote.
Right.
So if we'd have voted on it last month, we'd have voted on it without any amendments.
Right.
And some of which the bond council wanted.
They wanted, right.
So it's,
Yeah.
our cup's half full.
Yep, 6/12.
We've made some corrections that were necessary, but we're backed into the amended date.
okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Chatterling, a second by Councilman Asbill to change the date from November 5th to December 2nd. All in favor?
December 7th.
I'm sorry, December 7th. And all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
Nay.
4 yeas, 1 nay. Madam Clerk, to, ordinance is amended. Resolution
Move
submitted.
to approve as amended.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to approve as amended proposed resolution 2024-8. We have a second by Councilman Chatelain.
Can I, point of clarification?
Oh, sure.
We're approving it with all amendments, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
All of
The
them.
whereas amendments, or
Yes, sir.
the whereas was on the.
That's what I thought.
Sorry, Yeah.
That's what I thought.
With all amendments. All in
I
favor?
mean, we're voting.
Yeah.
All in
Yay.
favor?
Nay.
Yay.
4 yeas, 1 nay. Ordinance passes. Thank you. Madam Clerk, resolution passes, sorry.
Paul, I thought you said you wanted to vote.
Ordinances for approval. Proposed ordinance number 2023-35. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman Chatelain. An ordinance to adopt the new City of Harahan Employee Handbook Non-Civil Service, which will supersede Ordinance 1361 and all subsequent amendments.
Okay, anyone want to speak on proposed ordinance number 2023-35? Please come to the podium. No one coming forth. Will now close public hearing. Councilman Asbill, floor is yours.
This was a handbook that started out as a process to appease some of the audit findings from the legislative auditor. Is that right, Todd? It's grown since. I had some amendments. Mr. Tom's.
It does not address many of the issues the state auditor brought up. Correct me, Todd?
It should address some of the
It addresses the
payroll-related-
employment
Yeah.
Right.
findings, yeah, the employment
Yeah.
issues,
Yeah, it's a good idea to do this, but I
Yeah.
don't think it addresses, certainly doesn't address all of the state auditor.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Great.
And the other main goal of it was to consolidate all of our employment policies, which are currently set up in tens and 20s and hundreds of ordinances passed over the past 100 years of the city into one employee handbook. And it does that. It does some other things as well, and it changes some policies. Excuse me. Some of the substantive changes are regarding leave accrual, where it provides for less leave accrual. I think that's the biggest change. And also, it adds in the policy regarding retirement that we passed for city employee, non-civil service employees to have a retirement program to opt into. That's all I've got on it. I'm happy to pass with all amendments that have gone through by myself, Mr. Buddy, and also the consultant that was hired to compile the handbook in the first place.
And also reviewed by
Yeah.
the appropriate city staff.
Correct.
Okay, so you got calling for the vote?
Any more discussion? All right. I move to adopt all amendments in blue and red in Globo.
Okay, we have a motion by
Seconded.
Councilman Asbill to adopt all amendments in Globo with proposed ordinance number 2023-35. We have a second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Move to approve as amended.
Now, we have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Ricks to approve proposed ordinance number 2023-35 as amended. All in favor?
Yay.
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 Wait, I'm sorry.
Mr. Paul, were you a yea or nay?
Yay.
Public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry, we'll open for public hearing. Anyone to discuss a proposed ordinance as amended? No one coming forth? All in favor, 5 yeas, 0 nays. All right, sorry about that. Madam Clerk?
Proposed ordinance 2024-7. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Johnston and seconded by Councilman Chatelain. An ordinance to amend and reordain ordinance number 53, Surge District Number 1 of the City of Harahan and the Harahan Municipal Code, Chapter 90, Article 2, Division 2, User Charges, Section 90-58, Schedule of Charges providing for a reduced user charge for services rendered by the said Surge District.
All right, anyone wanting to speak on proposed ordinance number 2024-7, please come to the podium.
If we're saving $450,000 to $500,000 per year by taking over a sewer plant, why are we raising sewer rates 75%?
Because we have sewer lines breaking daily.
Okay, but that 450 to $500,000 is not saving you some money. It looks like we need maybe another 500,000 You're talking about $1 million a year?
The sewer funds
For
were
repairs?
supplemented by general funds for years.
Okay.
The sewer fund's currently upside down.
Yeah, I'll
The
say-
sewer fund owes the city of Harahan $600,000. It was a very squirrely transaction.
Thanks to the previous mayoral administration.
Gotcha.
Created by a previous mayor, questionable in my mind.
Yeah.
So the sewer fund is not solvent, or it's not liquid. It doesn't have cash to pay its bills. And it's been that way for a long time, and what's happened is the sewer fund has had to use city monies, general fund monies, and the general fund is tight. The general fund can't absorb all these sewer expenses. We have absorbed some. And every time the city pays one, though, it's another loan to the sewer. So this plan, two things, ma'am. This plan will hopefully get us liquid over a liquid in 3 to 5 years. And then after that, hopefully it'll generate money to be able to handle the future expenses of operating the sewer fund. It's a very expensive proposition, and the sewer fund's been upside down for years. The next thing is, we haven't seen the $500,000 a year savings yet. It may materialize, and hopefully with what we're planning on doing with this construction contract, we're going to start to see real savings that we can account for. But we don't have those yet, and that money could be spent lickety-split. $500,000 operating this sewer system and making repairs, it's chump change. Engineer for the previous administration, council meeting, he said, standing where you are, said
That was
he
Stewart
thought-
Consulting, that was Stewart Consulting Group.
Yeah, Stewart
Yeah,
Consulting.
just make sure.
And I'm not questioning him. He said that the sewer system needed $8 to $10 million worth of repairs. I've come to believe that he underestimated it about 50%.
Well-
Because we've since spent $5 million, and we're getting ready to spend another $5 million.
Okay, that's a grant though, right? And we have to come up with $1 million?
My point is, yes, you're correct, but my point is, we will have spent, if this contract that we discussed tonight goes to fruition and the construction contract is let, we will have spent well north of $11 million on sewer fund improvements in the last 8 years. And we're not done.
You keep getting grants though to do this
No,
work?
we will attempt to get grants. What this
That's why y'all need
administration-
3 terms.
Barbara, what this administration has
Yeah.
done in the last 6 years, and I'm going to give the mayor the credit for leading the charge, but with councilmen who took their Tuesdays, when the legislature was in session, went up there, just walking around, shaking hands, getting to know people. The mayor has been presenting detailed plans for his grant requests. Those results got the city, this past year, $6 million. That's probably more money than the city of Harahan has received from the state of Louisiana in the last 100 years.
Yeah, gotcha.
Come on.
The point is, what we talked about tonight, we've gone to a 3-term limit, would potentially allow the mayor and the councilman to continue to do that. It's just that this council and this mayor has been very successful in getting state grants. Is the mayor going to try to get grants? He was there Tuesday trying to get more grants. Are they going to come? We don't know. The Louisiana's budget is tightening. We all know that. We read the newspaper. But the mayor's not going to stop trying to get grants. But that's no guarantee.
Who can we contact to help you? Like ILG?
Yeah.
Oh, that's our contact. That's where we're going with all of our stuff.
Oh, yeah,
We go
yeah,
through
John
our
ILG.
State Senator, Kirk Talbot, and John
Talbot.
Hill. They lead the charge for Harahan, and they have been very helpful. They're good friends of Harahan. They like Harahan, and they do what they can for us.
Can we contact them on your behalf,
So
on the
we
behalf
already,
of the city?
You could
Call them,
contact them
thank them for
anytime.
all their efforts.
But, I mean, we have a relationship we built with them. We built relationships with other state reps, other senators, because basically they could propose all of this different stuff, but we need the other senators and reps to support us as
vote
well.
on it, yeah.
So the relationships we building up there is carrying the city of Harahan right now.
Yeah, let us know what we can do to help you.
Absolutely.
So we're moving
Start
forward to try to do what we
contacting
can. This money right here, if we pull this money out, I know it's a savings to the citizens, but at the same note, we need this money to keep our sewer system flowing. The more money we take from our general funds, we can't give to the police department to get more policemen. So if we could free up and save this money to where the sewer can cover itself, we could take care of more streets, we could take care of the police, we could take care of maintenance, the playground, senior center. There's numerous other things we can do with the funds if the sewer system can fund itself.
If it's
Gotcha.
self-sustaining.
Okay, thank you, but
you.
we need to get the word out that we need to start contacting John Ilg,
I think
Kirk Talbot.
every chance you get, reach out to our representatives at the state and thank them for what they've done
Yes.
for the city of Harahan.
They're working for us. I mean,
But
Let me, I
But as
got
Councilman, let me say this, I want to reiterate what Councilman Chatelain said. We don't have to go to Baton Rouge to lobby John Ilg and Kirk Talbot. They're in our corner. What's happening when we go to Baton Rouge is it gives Representative Ilg and Senator Talbot the opportunity to go around and introduce the representatives of Harahan to a state rep from Bossier City
Gotcha.
and a senator from Lafayette. And it's those relationships, it makes it a lot easier for those people to vote in appropriations when the city of Harahan's name comes, because they put a face to us.
Exactly.
So this lobbying effort, this advertising of Harahan effort, this glad handling, is not for John Ilg and Kirk Talbot. It proceeds because they help us. But through the efforts of the mayor and the councilmen that have supported him, people now know Harahan. They can put a face. They can put the mayor's face to Harahan when they see it in appropriations. And it just made it a lot easier to get a yay vote instead of a nay vote.
the
Yeah, 'cause they didn't know you.
the last governor and this governor, when we walk in somewhere,
They know who you
they
are.
recognize who we are. I mean, I could be in the bait shop in Grand Isle, and the governor walks in and goes, "Oh, that's one of my Harahan friends."
There you go.
So
Okay.
they know
The
where
connections.
Harahan's at.
Exactly.
You know, and that's a relationship we
That's why a
built.
third term could
I
really
agree.
benefit the citizens.
I agree. You're just getting started.
That's right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I don't know if we're going to have any new councilmen next time around,
Oh, you will for one, for sure. I'm not gonna-
but y'all have time to bring them up to what they need to do. You know, to introduce them to the people in Baton Rouge and whatnot, like training. So you have enough people to train the new people on the
It
council.
is an
Now, I
amazing
would like to
amount of work.
clarify, we may have the same number of councilmen next term if the voters vote to amend the charter of Harahan and say we only need 4 councilmen. Then we won't have a new one.
Why would you only need 4 and not 5?
That's not,
Okay.
he's just joking. That's just joking.
Okay, I
That's
fell
not
for
going
it.
to happen.
Yeah.
We're not going to go to 4 councilmen. The city of Harahan is not going to go to 4. We're going to go to 5.
Okay.
And there'll be at least 1 new councilman.
I have a problem on my street. Tell me who I got to go to.
Oh, we
For
got to
help.
come back in a little bit for that one.
I can't go no more. I'm going home.
Okay.
Call
Have
the
a good
mayor
evening.
tomorrow.
You can call us.
Okay.
You call me for all kind of other silly stuff. Call me for that.
About my culvert on my
Look, give
street.
me a
No,
break.
thank you.
Call me up.
I just want to take the opportunity at every point that we can to drive home the point that the sewer fund at one time was, and may still be apparently, upside down because of the prior mayor and some shady transactions that she made to make it look like everything was good to go.
She was balancing the general fund.
She was
with the cost of
balancing the
sewer.
general fund with funds from the sewer fund. And by the way, Stewart Consulting said there was $8 to $10 million in repairs that needed to be made. Well, they took a significant amount of consulting fees without doing any actual work. So let's be clear that, and it might be a political point, but I'm going to take it. It's because of the last administration that we're in the situation we are today. And which is why I'm against the ordinance this ordinance tonight, because we haven't even implemented the new charges, and now we want to reduce them. I think everybody voted for the new charges last time,
Include me,
including
after I looked
Councilman
at the
Johnson,
numbers.
who has proposed this new ordinance to reduce them back now. I think we need to get our feet underneath us with the new charges and leave it like it is. Thank you.
And possibly in a year from now, you come back and reduce it.
And our goal as a council, and I think every councilman would agree with me, I can't speak for every councilman, but we're not trying to make money off the sewer fund. We don't want the sewer fund to fund city government. We don't want the sewer fund to fund the fire department. We want the sewer fund to fund the sewer fund. Because while we all think, fire and police, gotta have it. You know what we gotta have? We gotta be able to flush our toilets. So we need more than one thing. We need fire, police, we need a sewerage department. It's critical. And we lost it during Ida because of a loss of power. Harahan got toilet flushing quicker than any other surrounding community. Again, hats off to the administration and the councilman who chipped in helping them through that. But we got pumps, generators to run our lift stations. But there was a while there where we couldn't flush our toilets. We don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to be in that situation. I'm a citizen first and a councilman second. So I'd like to make sure that fund is self-paying with a reasonable reserve for an emergency failure. And we're a far cry from that.
And I'll say it, Councilman Johnson got us a bunch of generators when he was mayor for the lift stations, but we also, we could use a few more generators for these lift stations to get the rest of them going, because we don't have enough to have all our lift stations running.
Right.
So if you did have a little extra money in the sewer fund, that money could be used to buy generators specifically for sewer. So there's numerous things we need to take care of on the sewer end before I would say we could reduce these sewer fees.
And again, if I should be in office and the sewer fund is generating enough cash in the next 2.5 years, I'd be happy to vote to reduce the rates then. Because my plan, my goal is not to have the sewer funds supporting city services, just to have the sewer fund self-sufficient, supporting the sewer fund. And we're not there yet. We're a far cry from there.
Well, I don't want to waste my breath. I know where this, I knew where it was going when I introduced this. I knew it, and nobody was going to go for it, but y'all went up 70%, and I voted for it, but after I did the numbers, I felt that we didn't need this, because the sewer budget is 1.1 million. We owe 250,000 alone. That's 1.3 million dollars. So we collect 1.4 million, and we said that we were going to save $600,000, $450,000 to $500,000 on the redoing the city taking over the sewer plant, and then we got that new equipment there. It's going to save $10,000. So we're going to save around $600,000 a year on the sewer plant. This is operating fees. This isn't capital money. You guys talking about the drain, about the pipes breaking. That's all capital projects that we're supposed to use capital outlay money for, different stuff like that. You know, you have an operating fees that run the plant. And I tried to get this information. Todd, what is what percentage of the money of the budget has the sewer plant used through the first 4 months of the year, through April? Can you give me that information?
I would have to look at the report.
So the problem is that the way we get the information from you, it's hard for me to understand it. And I've asked you about the way we get it. I asked Carrie for it today. I get the information. I don't understand what you're giving me. So we're going to sit down again, because I tried to figure out the first 4 months how much they've used out of their budget, and I can't figure it out, you know, the way you do it.
Isn't that our monthly financial report that we get in the email?
Well, we don't, what I have on the back of this thing, I got the check report, and I got,
But there's another email that goes out with the monthly
yeah,
financial.
but I got that, and I looked at it on my phone. My phone, you know, my little phone. You ever try to look at stuff on your phone?
You need to get a
I
bigger
do it all the time.
I mean, and when you're old and you're trying to look at it, you know, it's hard. You know, so,
But we have
but
it.
I was trying to
We
just
have the
reduce from
information.
70% to 48%. The increase of 70% is going to bring in $650,000. It's going to bring the budget to 2.1 million. And they only need 1.1 to run the sewer plant, plus the loan. Now, you know, you said the sewer plant owes the general funds, I think $750,000, Todd told me.
Right.
I was just bringing it back to like 48%, which is going to be an increase of
Right.
We also owe DEQ $2.6 million from a loan that was taken out to the mayor prior before me, so we also owe that as well.
200,000.
Right, well,
Doesn't
that's
come
the
out
money,
that
that's
P&L.
$250,000 that we pay him
200
back.
plus a year, yeah.
Yeah, that's 250,000, I got that in there.
Okay,
That's
so-
It's
250,000.
not in those numbers, Council.
It is, it's 1.1 million operating fund and 250,000 for the loan that we pay him back. That comes out to 1.355. Now, I'm not trying to take all the money away, I'm just trying to reduce it down. I was going from $7.23 to $6.23 on the 1,000 per 1,000. People are going to get a 70% increase in their sewer fee starting July 1st. So like I say, I know where it's going. I know where y'all going with this. I heard about the sewer plant, how bad things are, how bad the sewer system is. And again, I hate to continuously say this because I happen to have been mayor 8 years. And I hate to keep saying when I was mayor, but when I was mayor, my budget was $600,000 for the sewer plant. But we survived and we made it. I had Viola Water running it, running the plant, but we survived. You know, the sewer plant was running. You know, we survived, the city survived. We had problems too, you know, and like I say, we had, the lift stations went out. We had number 9, which y'all had problems with. We had problems with number 9, then 2, we had issues in, and I only had a $600,000 budget. So, but things go, but like I said, I'm not gonna continue going and going on and on and on, because I know where this is going, so,
Mr. Paul, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
How long ago were you mayor?
14 years ago.
Nothing's been done to the sewer system since 14 years ago till
Sure it
recently.
is.
Very little.
Sure it is.
Till recently.
Until recently, the last few years.
The mayor before him did a lot.
Nope. Nope.
So I'm just letting you know, if you don't maintain your car, from 14 years ago, it's not gonna
They've
run.
done stuff, they've done stuff,
You
but
know,
not a lot.
Minimum.
They've done
What
stuff.
happened, Councilman
They've done stuff.
Johnson, is when you were mayor, you dealt with the budget you had as best you could.
$3.9 million.
No, but for the sewer fund, you dealt with that as best you could.
Right.
The reality is, and I'm not pointing fingers because
Right.
you can't spend what you don't have.
Right.
The system has deteriorated to the point
I
of almost
agree.
failure.
I agree. Well-
So this is an attempt to fix the system. Now, and keep in mind, this money that we voted on recently, this increase was basically $650,000 a year projected. That was to allow, over a 3-year period, the sewer fund to pay the city back, to get even on that. Just to get it back to where it was 7 years ago. The $250,000 for the payment on the $4 million loan, and $200,000 can be used for, that we had a budget deficit last year. We ran $200,000. We had a loss in the sewer fund. Operating expenses exceeded operating revenue by $200,000. So all of that money just pays the city off, pays the bond, and would, everything else being equal, get the sewer fund to break even. No money for capital improvements. Now, if we have real savings in the takeover by the city, taking it back and operating it in the sewer fund, and we all expect to have some, but we haven't seen that materialize yet. So
I don't know if I.
So there's no fat in that $650,000. If a sewer line, if we needed $500,000 to repair something, there's no money in that $650 for that. Zero for future maintenance.
That's capital.
And, yeah, it's capital, but the sewer fund should have a capital account. It doesn't. We've got a small general capital account. We put, what, $400,000 a year in it. $400,000 a year is the city of Harahan's money we put in the capital fund every year. We couldn't pay for one-tenth of this project we're talking about tonight with $400,000. We use all of our capital fund for that. Don't make any other repairs. Don't repair a street. Don't repair lighting when it fails. Or $400,000 in the city of Harahan doesn't go very far.
You're talking about a $200,000 difference in the fee that I'm proposing to what you proposed 3 months ago. You're not talking about $1 million, you're talking about $200,000. So you're not talking about the plant's gonna close down.
I don't know
When
where
you
you
like,
get the million
when you
from.
come up like all this was going on, about all this stuff's gonna, the world's gonna end because I'm reducing it from
No, the world's
70%
gonna
to
get to a neutral
48%.
state, Councilman.
$200,000 difference in what you propose and what I'm proposing.
We're here
It's
today-
not everything,
we're here
you're making
today-
everything's gonna fall
We're
apart.
here today because past administrations.
Well, I'm not
for
worried about
whatever
that, Tommy. I mean,
got us in
Councilman
this
Buddy,
situation.
I'm not talking about, all I'm reducing is $200,000 from what you proposed. I'm not reducing $1 million. I'm reducing
never said you were reducing
$200,000.
$1
Well, the way you coming up with all this
I
stuff.
never said that, sir. You
No,
putting
I
words on
just-
it.
guys,
With all you saying, with all what's going on, I'm not saying that. No, I don't mean to
Okay.
be combative. I come back, you know.
Yeah, I'm not taking it that
I'm
way.
not-
You've got
I'm not
your
trying.
point. You've got
I'm
your
just
point.
saying, I'm reducing it $200,000. I'm not trying to say, I know what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. We do have problems. So
Look.
I think, guys, if we roll with this for the next year or so, see where it brings us.
Right,
And
bingo.
if there's a little cushion there, we can bring this back up.
I will say, Councilman Johnson, I wanted to answer your question about the percentage of the budget that's been spent so far. We're 33.3% through the year, and the expenditures for the sewer fund are 29.464% of the budget. So they're on track.
29 for the first 4 months.
That's right, 29% for the first 4 months. So they're on track. The sewer budget is on track. According to the numbers we got from accounting. Hopefully those are right. I don't know.
Okay, so we're going to call for the vote on proposed orders number 2024-7, proposed by Councilman Chatelain, proposed by Councilman Johnston, second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Do we have to open it up for?
We already did.
we
already did.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Yay.
One yay.
Nay.
Nay.
All right, so you got 4 nays, 1 yay. Madam Clerk, ordinance
We
fails.
just voted opposite on everything tonight.
Just one. I didn't, because of the date. I'm in favor of the term limits vote, but I
Madam
wasn't in
Clerk,
favor of the
next
date.
ordinance.
Did one bring it to the?
Proposed ordinance
Just didn't wanna bring it to
2024-8. The
the
following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman Buddy.
Bring it up now.
An ordinance to repeal ordinance number 1367, providing a car allowance for the mayor in its entirety.
Yeah, we gotta make some amendments. This mine? This mine? Everybody's got a copy.
He's got to make some amendments. Go ahead. All right, we're now open for public hearing, proposed ordinance number 2024-8. If you want to speak about it, please come forward. No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion, Councilman Chatelain.
We do have some amendments we need to make to this ordinance. There's a lot. Every one of y'all have a copy.
Okay, you want to read them?
You want me to read them?
Oh, we'll go either way. I'm just making sure all of y'all have the copies.
I have a red line copy, is that?
Looking at the amendments, if
Yes.
effective now.
All we doing is just put or, you know, car
allowance.
allowance or car, that's all.
Correct.
But we're also reducing the car allowance from its current amount to a
No.
lesser amount, correct?
No, it's
Is it
350.
currently 350?
It's 350.
Okay, thank you.
now.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yeah. You want to read the amendment?
I would
City Clerk?
propose, just throw a wrench in the gears here. I would propose that we make it the either or and raise the car allowance, if that is the option.
That's fine. Because things, when this was written, this
Yeah, I
was
mean,
written in 2006, so
Exactly.
you're
We're
talking
gonna
about,
amend it. We might well amend it with the
Yeah.
new
things are
number.
more expensive now, so.
1,200?
Whoa, 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 big dog.
Was it even 2,000?
Let's go with 1,000.
Yeah, I was that car parked by there now.
1,000.
No, we're
No.
not gonna.
Yeah. I would amend it to $500, I'm sorry.
500 would be, with the expense, with things, gas prices now, what it was, when this was written back in 06, or 05.
They have the option to take the city car.
Yeah, either car or allowance.
Right.
500 would be reasonable.
I agree.
500 is still on the low side, but I think it's fair.
I think it's fair, 500.
All right, so I moved.
Well, wait,
Oh,
I don't know if anybody else has any comments, and I'm taking just a moment to read it. I think I'm okay with it, but so I think
leave that car
changing the
parked out there right
350, proposed amendment, adding 350, clarifying it, changing it to 500 as an alternative to a city car is
Why would I stay there?
fine.
Y'all can have it back.
Appropriate.
I'll walk. I'll walk clean to Baton Rouge.
He said go 2,000, he's walking a bad road.
Okay, oh, you want to read it, you want the clerk to read it?
Can you read it?
Can I make
That's a lot.
make a suggestion? When you read it,
can we adopt it in
read
Globo and
read the
change it?
350 as $500,
Yes.
Yeah,
because I think that's how we're going to vote on it.
right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll read it. Jesus Christ, y'all making that lady.
I'll read
She
it,
been
I don't
working all day.
You ain't did nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Proposed ordinance 2024-8. I propose that we amend it to read as follows. An ordinance to amend ordinance number 1367, providing a car allowance or a city vehicle for the mayor. Now therefore be it ordained by the mayor and the city council of the city of Harahan that Section 1, ordinance number 1367 is hereby amended to read as follows. An ordinance to provide a car allowance or city vehicle for the mayor of the city of Harahan for the entire length of his elected term at his discretion. The mayor of the city of Harahan shall either be provided a car allowance of $500 per month with budget approval, or in lieu thereof, the city may furnish to a mayor a suitable city-owned vehicle for his use. Section 2, that all ordinances or parts of ordinances of the city of Harahan in conflict with this ordinance, and all sections of the Harahan Municipal Code in conflict with this ordinance is hereby repealed. Section 3, that if any section of subsection, paragraph, sentence, clause, phrase, or other part of this ordinance may be found to be unconstitutional by a valid judgment or decree by any court of competent jurisdiction, or is unenforceable for any reason, such unconstitutionality or unenforceability should not affect the validity of any of the remaining sections, subsections, paragraphs, sentences, clauses, phrases, or other parts of this ordinance which shall remain in full force and effect.
I have one comment for consideration.
I'm not reading again. Read, Joe.
You don't have to read it again. We're going to make this brief. On the red line copy that the council is looking at, on line 21, as part of the alternative, it says the city may furnish the mayor a car. I think that should be shall.
With budget approval?
Yes. Because if he does not take, the mayor, whoever that is, does not take, opts not to take the $500 monthly allowance, the city shall furnish him a car, him or her.
So the city shall furnish to a mayor a suitable city-owned vehicle for his use with budget approval.
So we would delete the word may and substitute the word shall.
And then add the words with budget approval at the end of the sentence.
Yeah.
And do we have a cap on a vehicle purchase or anything? Or
That's for the city, that's for the
that's-
council at that time to, because it might, I mean, we bought this one for 70, it might be 90 by the time we get to the next
I would
one.
say a Lexus, a Lexus 350.
Cadillac, yes.
It's got to be done by contract, a state contract,
Gotta be
usually
state
by a state contract.
Yeah.
Should that,
Okay,
should
so we
that
have proposed-
statement be in there? Or is that just common knowledge?
I think it's, yeah, standard.
I second the proposed
So
amendment.
we have proposed ordinances read into record as Councilman Asbill read into record, and we have a second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor on the amendments for proposed ordinance number 2024-8?
Yay.
Yay.
Move to approve as amended.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Now we're going to move to approve as amended. We have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Ricks, to approve proposed ordinance number 2024-8 as amended. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk.
Okay, proposed ordinance 2024-11. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman who would like that one.
I'll second it.
Ricks. An ordinance amending ordinance number 1990, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024 for the Capital Project Fund of the City of Harahan, Louisiana for flagpoles.
Okay, we have anyone want to speak on proposed ordinance number 2024-11? Please come forward. No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
Good. I'm fine with it. I'd just like to ask the administration, as we vote on allocating capital funds, I'd like to have a report of the current capital account, just so we know what's there. And what, and it's kind of just, I'm going to reiterate, but when we were looking at this proposed sewer contract, the question we raised was, where's the money going to come? Do we have the money? So I'd just like to make sure we always have something saying that the money's there.
Any objection?
That's just a request for future. Thank you.
Just because the funds are time limited, any objection of pulling this from ARPA rather than capital? No?
No objection.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry, say again, please?
Since the ARPA funds are time limited, do we have any objection of pulling the funds from there instead of capital?
Is this infrastructure?
The
It
only,
doesn't have to be infrastructure.
20,000 I think we can do, but as I mentioned earlier, the fund availability to match the sewer project is consuming most of the ARPA funds that weren't allocated.
Right, but we don't have to pull it from ARPA funds. We could pull it from a mixture of ARPA funds and capital funds.
Correct, but now this is only 20,000, right?
Right.
So I think we could pull that from ARPA. I'm pretty sure the money's there.
Yeah.
2.6 million in ARPA at the end of December 2023.
But some of it's allocated.
Not much.
Not much.
How much is in ARPA right now?
2.6 at December 2023.
And we've only allocated, I think, probably a couple $100,000.
Well, we could be possibly allocating 1 million,
Sorry, say again?
could possibly
Yeah.
allocating $1 million
To the project over there in Wilson.
Wilson project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still got 1.4,
Yeah.
1.5 left.
So
So
yeah, if
you-
we want to move this to ARPA, I don't have a problem.
Yeah, so I moved to amend to, for Finance Department to do what they need to do to amend this to get it out of the ARPA fund instead of the capital fund.
We might need that money for sewer.
Yep.
We need to take that out of capital money. We don't need to take out the ARPA.
So,
It's going to be the same at the end of the day. The ARPA funds are time limited,
ARPA
so
funds
And
you
they're
have to spend by a
restricted.
certain time.
When do you got to spend it by?
you've got to dedicate them by
Dedicated by
2025.
the, I thought the end of this year.
Oh,
Spent
you're
by
right.
26.
Yeah,
By 26?
you have to
dedicated-
dedicate it by
Kind
25.
of planned by the end of, I thought 24.
I think you're
We
right.
need-
24,
we need
I'm
to
sorry.
keep-
And then
we need to get
spent-
that date tied down.
Spent by
Yeah.
26.
So we need to just do that, and if we have to come up with money out of capital to
So-
pay for sewer, we do it at that time,
so-
because we don't have a timeline on that. So moving this to
Todd?
ARPA is the right
Yeah,
decision.
but how much money we got in regular capital money? The video poker money?
A bunch.
Bear with me. 4.9 million at December 2023.
How much dedicated?
So the bulk of that is dedicated. There's about $1 million undedicated. I don't
take it out
have
of
the
there.
exact number. It's about $1
I'd
million.
rather take it out of there than take out of.
ARPA's got a timeline.
Yeah,
ARPA
but-
got time.
Yeah, but well, you got a lot of sewer. When I was listening to Tommy say, we got a lot of sewer repairs.
Just leave it in capital.
The sewer can come from either one.
Just take out of capital.
Just leave it in capital.
You get ready to ask for
Something else out of
100,000 for the playground to get a swing set. That's gonna have to come out of capital too,
That's fine.
not out of ARPA money.
That's gonna come out of
I
ARPA.
think the logic of using
Yeah.
ARPA money,
You want a motion?
not
I'll second.
overusing it,
I
not
propose-
over budgeting, but using ARPA money since it's time limit
Yeah.
makes sense.
I moved
For
to,
this?
I moved to amend to
For the
take it out of
Yeah,
ARPA.
only because we could lose ARPA money
So I
if
need a
we don't
second.
spend
We're
it.
gonna spend
second
it this
that.
year for the sewer
I'm a
department.
second, Councilman Asbill.
Well, a million of it, there's 2 million plus in there.
I'm going to forward that. Can I vote on it,
So,
please?
so I'm
I'd rather
sorry.
use ARPA money for the sewer. I'm gonna vote down. I'm not gonna vote for this
I'll call for
ARPA
it.
money.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Riggs.
A motion by Councilman Asbill.
I'm sorry, you got a motion, all right, we got a motion by Councilman
To
Asbill,
amend.
second by Councilman Chatelain, to amend proposed ordinance number 2024-11, as stated, moving the funding from capital to ARPA. All in favor on the amendment?
Yeah.
Yay.
Nay.
4 yeas, 1 nay. Okay, now we're going to vote on the ordinance of 2024-11. We're open for public hearing, no one coming forth. We're going to vote on this ordinance as amended. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
Nay.
4 yeas, 1 nay. Madam Clerk.
Ordinances for introduction. The following ordinance was offered by Councilman Chatelain, proposed ordinance 2024-12, an ordinance to sell and/or auction property owned by the municipality of the city of Harahan, providing for the procedure to be utilized pursuant to the provisions of Louisiana Revised Statute 33-4712, which provides for the sale, exchange, or lease of property by a municipality. The following ordinance was offered by Councilman Asbill.
Can I make a comment on that, please? That we don't have the list, the proposed.
I gave you the
It's up
list.
here somewhere.
Oh, okay, thank you,
We had to get the list together, but I gave it to y'all today.
thank you. I appreciate you having it for tonight.
The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill, proposed ordinance number 2024-13, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1990, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, for the ARPA Fund of the City of Harahan, Louisiana, for Soniat Playground play equipment and installation. Old business number 1, Planning and Zoning Board appointment.
If you guys have no appointments, we can defer to the next council meeting. Any appointments?
No, sir.
Nope. Madam Clerk will defer to the next council meeting.
New business number 1, Todd Turnion, Finance Director, monthly financials.
My list, man.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Brief update from the finance team. We continue to work through the financial statement audit. It's actually winding down. We're nearing the end of the process, working to schedule our exit meeting between the mayor, us, and the auditors around the third week in June. So we're working through that. We continue to work on FEMA-related items. We've reached out to some of the FEMA consultants and inquired about collections on some of the outstanding obligated PWs, and continue to have issues with the other expenses and not having any movement on some of the costs for the playground and recreation, the red building, and a couple others where we still don't have obligated PWs on. And then just the sales tax amounts still have come in consistent with budgeted amounts, so that's positive for the general fund as well as for the fire sales tax. So that's positive as well. Happy to answer any questions or if we missed anything.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
New business number 2, high and low content ABO application for Oasis Fuel Mart located at 6025 Jefferson Highway for Wesam, Ohala.
Chief?
Chief, did you hear from the
Yes,
police?
it's cleared, yes. We did the backgrounds, it's clear.
She's all good, okay? Chief approved, she's all good. All in favor?
Yes. Apple's out.
Okay, so we're open for public hearing, no one coming forth. We're now closed public hearing. All in favor to approve the ABO?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk?
Address the council.
Anyone like to address the council? Please come to the podium. No one's here, but now we're closed to address the council.
Secretary's report for April 2024, total revenues $363.19. Reports.
Councilman, Chief?
We'll do this quick because we've been here a long time. Last month, short month, we had 528 calls for service. We had 9 traffic accidents, issued 92 citations, 13 patrol requests of residence checks and service of 74. We did 934 business checks throughout the month. We had 110 traffic enforcements. We had 62 medical calls. We had 30 arrests, miscellaneous arrests. And then we had 4 felonies, 16 misdemeanors, 1 DWI, 18 city, and 1 traffic arrest. We had 8 narcotic arrests. 7 of them were city charges, and 1 was a felony. Residential burglaries, 1. We had 5 thefts. Identity thefts is starting to be a big issue. We had 2 called in back-to-back, so we're asking the public to be cautious when you're receiving calls. We've had some people call in that loans are opened in their names and business that we've been working on. We had 5 assaults in the city. Real quick, I want to thank the citizens. A couple of days ago, we had an incident at one of our local businesses involving counterfeit money. 2 days ago, we took the call and we put it out on the app. And we had some video evidence. The people that had registered their cameras with the department was useful. We put it out within 15 minutes. We were getting calls on who the guy might be. And I'm proud to say the Harahan Police Department, the Patrol Division, and detectives, they effected arrest this morning. They sit on the house, they built the case, and we were able to apprehend the subject this morning that committed that crime. It's under further investigation. There's other agencies now looking at the subject that was arrested.
Good work.
I want to congratulate early Logan Barlow, young officer that applied with us. He graduates tomorrow from the St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Academy. I'll be issuing him a post certificate tomorrow. So we are picking up new officers. We've had 3 in the last month that have showed up at our door saying they like what we're doing, they like what they're hearing from the department, and 2 of them are post-certified policemen. Let me retract. 3 of them are post-certified policemen, and we have another one that is in the academy for a month now. So we are looking up. We are drawing some good candidates and people coming to work for us. I'm working with the sheriff's office and Councilman Dino Banana's office, working on getting a couple of high water vehicles for us. With the last rainfall that came in, 85% of the streets were underwater. Harris Avenue, who never holds water, was holding water. So I'm working to obtain, with Councilman Banana and the sheriff, to obtain a couple of high water vehicles for the city of Harahan and for the police department. We do have some heavy rain expected coming in late tonight and through the weekend, so just be careful and be safe when you're out on the streets. And I do, we mentioned earlier about the help that Senator Talbert and State Rep Big has really helped out the Harahan Police Department. We were able to obtain $440,000 last year from our partnerships of building relationships with them, was able to help us with body cams, and the body cams came in really effective this morning. We were able to set up a camera on the location we were watching, so we didn't have to be sitting outside the front door. And we could see from a couple blocks away when that subject started moving. So the camera system is really working. I'm very proud of the Harahan Police Department. The guys did a real good job. We've got some other cases working that we could talk about later. But if you would, download the app. The movie set that y'all mentioned earlier, they are going to be doing some shooting on Riverside. We're going to have 7 officers out there with traffic control, because they are going to need it for a couple hours to shoot their scenes along the along. No, not that I'm aware of. But they haven't told us that. But I really appreciate the council. I think everybody's working well together. It's going to be up to the public of what they want to do, but I think everybody up here has done a great job. A lot of experience up here. I'm still learning how to do this job, but I appreciate y'all working with me, and look forward to continue working together. Thank you.
Chief, do we have a tentative time and a tentative location for that movie shoot work?
You should have it in your
Yeah,
packet.
I gave
It's in
you
your
a
packet.
copy
I
of it.
didn't get a chance.
The date has been changed twice.
I think
They
it's the
called to set it up,
23rd.
and then they changed the time again, so
I think it's the 23rd.
the 23rd.
They have like one from like 7 a.m. to 10, and then one from like noon to 4.
Right.
So the
And,
23rd.
the city of Harahan needs to be proud. I mean, we have movie sets coming in wanting to shoot in our city, and I feel like it's because we're a safe
7
city.
to 7 to 10.
The latest.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Councilman Asbill?
Yeah, two quick announcements. One, congratulations, John Curtis varsity baseball team. They made it to the finals of the state championships. They call their home field Harahan Playground, so we're excited about that partnership, and I have a championship team over there that we're partnering with. And school will be letting out soon, so those dang kids will be all over the streets. Just keep your eyes open and watch out for them. Make sure they're not. Make sure you're careful with the increased traffic of kids on the streets riding their bikes around for the summer and stuff.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Councilman Bodie?
No report. Thank you.
Councilman Chatelain?
Guys, just to give the public an update, we're working with FEMA and GOSEP, trying to get these fundings for this fire station work. Y'all wouldn't believe what we go through. They're questioning, we would say we need to replace a door. They want to know, can you reuse the door hinges? Can you reuse the handle? How many screws are missing off of the roof? How would they know them screws were missing? Them screws weren't missing prior to the storm. We want to get our firemen out of that temporary trailer facility they're living in very badly. We're coming upon another serious hurricane season. The firemen are basically in a temporary trailer. I'm going to call Chief St. Cyr tomorrow and see what our plans are in case there is a storm coming. I mean, I wouldn't expect our men to stay in that trailer. I mean, it's advertised all over national weather channels, get out of a mobile home. That's basically what our guys are living in right now, is a mobile home. So if we have severe weather, we need to get our first responders out of that mobile home and get them somewhere safe. We're not sitting around slacking. We're dealing with them every day. I believe Senator Cassidy's working on this with us. Kennedy. It doesn't stop. I mean, we just GOSEP. I mean, y'all wouldn't believe the money we funded the playground with. That's coming out of the city of Harahan. We didn't get funds from FEMA and all of this stuff. I mean, we got very little funds so far from all of that. So I don't want anybody to think we're slack and we're not doing our job. We're doing everything we can. If someone has an idea or a better contact to help us move forward with this, help us move forward. But we want these guys out of that trailer as bad as they want to be out of that trailer. The funding to repair the police, basically, if we go in and start doing temporary repairs, they're saying we could lose all funding. We won't get anything done. So we're in a situation where our hands are tied. I think we're getting close. I mean, they say we need to be 50%. We're 44.9%. 49.4% is where we're at. And their question is on door handles and hinges. So not sure how they're coming up with their numbers, but also on the same note, our engineers are wanting us to bring it up to code. No one wants to sign off on it unless we bring it completely up to code. Code's changed since that building was built. There's a lot of things that need to happen. So I just want to let everybody know we're still working on this. We didn't give up. Don't let anybody think we gave up. Our first responders are important to us, and we want to get them in a safe, sound place where they need to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Chatelain. Don't give up. Councilman Johnston?
No report.
Councilman Ricks?
I would like to just congratulate all the seniors that are graduating this year, and everybody have a very safe summer. Like Jason said, be aware the kids are out on the street. That's it.
I just want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and I hope you have a great one.
Like next month.
Whatever. It's got to be coming up soon, so we'll get it knocked
Next
out.
month.
Yeah. Look, it's late. I'm tired. Sorry. I'll mention it again next month.
Pay bills. Bills paid in April 2024. Total expenditures $1,546,623.75.
Move to adjourn.
No
Motion by
executive
Councilman
session.
Ashbel, second by
adjourned.
Councilman Johnson to adjourn.
All right.
All in favor?
Yeah.
We are adjourned.